I look back at my life, and all I see are the messes I made. I can do one thing right with the time I got left. I can't do it alone.
You'll no longer be beloved celebrities.
In the fewest of ways.
You will be wrathful gods.
That doesn't sound good, Ashley.
Oh, yeah, no, Ashley.
Sorry, Ashley.
This is insane and desperate, even for you.
Well, insanely desperate's where we are, don't you think, love?
Let's go.
That's a spirit champ.
Who wants a creamy, delicious milkshake?
Run!
You're all welcome.
Saturday through Sunday, Monday through Sunday, yo. Maybe I'll love you one day, maybe we'll someday grow. Till then, just sit your drum on that fuck runway. I can't be your Superman, can't be your Superman, can't be your Superman, can't be your Superman. I can't be your Superman, can't be your Superman, can't be your Superman, your Superman, your Superman.
Soldier Boy tough. Hey, I got this new dance for y'all called Soldier Boy. You just gotta punch, then crank back 3 times from left to right. Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it? Why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy? That Superman now why me crank that Soldier? 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 Now what? Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it? Why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy? That Superman now why me crank that Soldier? 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 Now what? Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me in it? Why me rock? Superman that yeah, why me crank that RoboCop? Super friend, now why me jocking on them, hate them, man. When I do that Soldier Boy, I lean to the left, then crank that thing now. I'm jocking on you, I'm jocking on you. And if we get the fight, then I'm cocking on you. You catch me at your local party, yes, I crank it every day. Haters get mad, cause I got me some bathing days. Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy, that Superman now why me crank that Soldier?
Hi, hello. Y'all, the technical difficulties be trying me, but it's all right. Let me know if I sound okay and if you guys can hear me. We are here to discuss The Boys. The Boys season 4. Y'all, I love this show. I've seen a lot of y'all under my posts like, you watch The Boys, Tara? Absolutely. I've never reviewed it or anything, but this is, one of them shows I just want to watch and not talk about it. Just want to keep it to myself. But I felt like we needed to discuss it this go around. Now, of course, I am not here by myself. I have some lovely guests backstage and we are going to discuss it together. Not one to waste anybody's time. I'm going to bring my girl Ashley out with her sweet perspective just to see how she felt about the 3 episodes and what she rates this particular season starting off so far. Ashley, I want to bring her out first because she's new to The Boys. She is new. She just binge watched The Boys like 5 minutes ago. So she fresh. She could tell you what happened episode 3 at midnight. Episode 2 season, like she just, it's all fresh in your mind. Me, I ain't seen that since it came on. But Ashley, bringing you on outside to tell the people what you think about the 3 episodes. Come on, girl.
And y'all give it up to Tyra in this intro. Do you hear me? I want her to DJ every party, every soiree, every event that I have in the future. I need a mixtape, Tyra, is what I need.
A mixtape? I've been asked if you want to DJ. Like, I've never been, I just like music, Ashley. But for you, I will DJ and make a mixtape. Old school burn CD. It's going to be live wire all over again.
But the first 3 episodes, so y'all know I'm coming right off of finishing the first 3. And season 3 was my favorite episode. I felt like I was the most invested in season 3. So I came into season 4 wanting answers, and I got some. Child, but some things I don't know. The shock value is absolutely still there, and we'll have to talk about it. I don't have an official rating, but I hope that the best is still yet to come. I'm gonna just set it right there.
Y'all wasn't that sweet. You see what I be talking about? This is exactly what I be talking about, y'all. Y'all see how she did that all cute? Myself, on the other hand, before I bring out good old Kay, because I really want to know what she thinks. My season has always been like season 2. I love me some season 2. The first like season and season 2 just have a special place in my heart. 3 was good too, but 2 and 3 just that's when it was really, really good. These first 3 episodes did not they didn't captivate me in the way that the past season have, like right off the back, like instantly. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what happens, and really giggity for that episode 4. I'm gonna need a little time. I'm gonna need a little time to settle with it, but the boys never disappoint, so I'm gonna be patient and wait on it. But rating, I'm gonna rate this 1 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 6. That's the best I can do for right now. Kay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you out, girl, so we can get your rating. What did you think about season 4, episode 1 through 3 of The Boys in comparison to the past seasons that we got?
First of all, they did not scale back on the gore at all. Okay, they not holding back. I said, why is Vicky Noonan's daughter straight out of Resident Evil? That's a Resident Evil child. What are we doing here? But I love that they brought out the gore. I want to see what they're doing with Jeffrey Dean Morgan this season. Because I said Negan! So, but he ain't been doing too much. But I need to see what I need him to have a good purpose for being there. Let's use him. How are we using him?
It's never a good moment when you see Negan. As soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, he plotting. It's the enemy. Run, Butcher, run. It ain't no friend. It's not a colleague. It's a red flag. Like, it's never a good sign when you see him. So I can't wait to see how they utilize him either. And yes, I see this comment here. I think we all watched Gen V, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ashley?
I got 3 episodes into Gen V, but I watched that before I watched The Boys. So I'll have to go, but I did get a refresher. I know everything that happened with Newman and all that stuff. And I'm hoping we get some appearances or maybe get to go to the university later this season. I'm hoping we get a crossover.
I think they're going to wait all the way to the end to kind of tie it back in together, because they have to revisit it, due to certain circumstances, us losing a main character. They're going to have to rework it in some way, but they have to bring both of those universes together, especially with Homelander touching down. I can't spoil it because Ashley ain't seen it. It's okay, but you guys, we have a couple people running late, and we will include them the very moment that they get here. But let's go ahead and get started. Y'all already know how I roll. I'm excited. We've been talking about vampires for a minute. We got something fresh. We have something fresh. Now, things here are not, in any particular order. I just kind of tried to put everything together as I normally do. If I say jump, you say how high. Mother's Milk is in charge of the boys, and Butcher is out. The CIA wants results now. For me personally, this was just like, okay, hurry up and let the happening go on and be mad at Butcher and let him back into the boys. Because what y'all not going to do is act like he's not going to be a part of the boys. As far as Mother's Milk being in charge, I love it. And I did see a couple of things online about Laz Alonso's health. He is fine from what my understanding is. He is just choosing to live a healthier lifestyle, and he's slimming down. But I know some people were like, Mother's Milk looking a little different. But he said he's in, good spirits and everything. He's great. But I thought this was a great situation, but I just want to know how long are they going to stretch it out? Because as we can see, there is a whole lot of pressure on Mother's Milk, but we just know he just not. Mother's Milk is muscle. Like, you're not built to be in charge, boo. I love you, but you're not. I need Butcher there, and I need him to be regulating everything. Even though Butcher is a whole lot, I know that Milk is not built for this type of job. Ashley?
Mother's Milk is one of my favorite characters. Okay. One of my favorites in the show. And I'm so glad he's healthy, because that was my concern. I was like, Laz, are we good? Oh my God, are we good? I was like, maybe it's the go T not being there. Maybe it's other stuff, but okay. Back to this. We know that Billy needs to be running the show. Okay. He's just got that edge. He's got that vision as it relates to the soups. Mother's Milk is a by the book OCD type of guy. We need to think out of the box here, right? This whole first episode, I was like, babies, y'all are just loud and wrong at every single turn. Everything that from the acid, okay, come on, guys. Come on, guys. To, I mean, Kamiko flying out the window with the baby arm. Like, it was just a recipe for disaster. Murphy's Law, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I'm not going to say it's indicative of Mother's Milk's leadership, but that's how it felt. That's what it gave. I think us seeing, I know him as Denny. Y'all know him as Negan. I didn't watch The Walking Dead. I know him as Denny from, y'all know.
Supernatural?
No, from Grey's Anatomy, honey. That's where I know Denny, and he was a sweetie pie. So I only have the best hopes and intentions for Joe Kessler in here. But I think if we don't see Billy take over this group, we might actually see Kessler step in a leadership role, because Mother's Milk, I think, is on the way out. One more failed mission. They're going to have, Grace is going to do something different. The Prez is going to do something different.
Most definitely. And not even that, him kind of trying to rule with his iron fist, like what I say goes. He's alien. Like, they already don't listen to you. They already be off on their own missions doing whatever they want to do. So when you tell them, like, it's my way or the highway, and you don't get to say so, it kind of alienates the rest of the team when they were kind of low-key making all of the decisions together as the boys, even though Butcher is always, being Butcher. Kay, how do you feel about Mother's Milk being in charge? Is there any hope? Because the CIA is putting the pressure on.
I mean, I like MM, but sometimes he can cross the line too. So I don't know why he'd be judging Butcher, because he has overstepped some lines too. But all of them some line steppers. And right now, Butcher ain't got no family and kids and all of that. Like, MM, you do. Mm-hmm. So we need you to get your head in the game and focus on what's important. Because if the boys fall apart, they're gonna blame you. We're gonna blame the black guy. So I mean, do you want to take that blame?
Oh man, with his suit and tie on. Y'all, we have one of our guests backstage who has finally made it here. He is new to the channel. This is his first time here. Let me bring to the stage my man's Dom from Screen Static. Dom, you ready to go? All right, let's see. Let's see if he all good to go here. Is he frozen up?
Nope. There you go.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm late. I had technical difficulties with everything.
Oh, us too. It's okay. Welcome to the panel. How you doing?
Good. How's everybody doing?
We're great. Talking about Mother's Milk.
Man, I love him, but he gotta get his head on straight.
That's what I was saying.
I think he too used to dealing with them inmates where it is my way or the highway. He's like, nah.
Children.
Nah. Yeah, I can leave when I want to. You ain't running. You can't send me back to the cell block.
Them delinquents.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for being here, Dom. How did you feel about the first 3 episodes overall?
Well, first, I feel like I gotta say that I felt like a novice with streaming, because I turned it on. I'm like, okay, the first episode, and then I was like, oh, they dropped 3 episodes. I was like, oh snap, I wasn't ready for it. But it was great to be back with these characters, and the boys is so good at hitting the ground running. Like as soon as the first episode started, I was like, oh man, we right back at it, hit the ground running, and we not wasting any time. Just stuff was hitting the fan immediately.
Absolutely. My other guest is here, y'all. My other guest is here, and he is right on time. I can't tell y'all what I done been through with this guest backstage. I have learned so much from Elliot back here, because your girl wasn't streaming. I ain't want to stream nothing. I ain't want to see no microphone. I wasn't going live. Don't ask me to do nothing. But Elliot, along with a few others, made me feel like, you know what? I think I can do it. I believe in myself. Coming to the stage, the man with the movie files. So happy that he's here. Come on out, Elliot. Hello, Elliot.
My best Billy impression. Boy, Mike. How are you doing that?
We're great. How are you, Elliot?
I'm good. Listen, Tyra, I had to pull my best A-Train impression. I was like, I need to get on the stream, run from work, get over here, and talk about the boys. So I'm glad to be here. How's everyone doing tonight?
Yeah, great. I'm great. a rocky start with these technical difficulties, but we all here, and that is all that matters. What did you think about these first 3 episodes and Mother's Milk being in charge of the boys?
Mother's Milk, my man Marvin. First 3 episodes, I'll be honest, I'm sure we'll get into like episode 1, 2, 3, and whatnot. Episode 1 was okay. It was okay. It was kind of a subpar premiere episode. I think 2 and 3 really kind of laid the foundation for what we can expect this season. But as far as goes, I think he's a little bit way over his head. I think he's he doesn't want to be butchered, but he's also allowing, things to not run at a pace that they can, get things done. So I'm always a fan of his, but I think he's a little bit way too over his head. I think I think he is a great assistant coach. Like, I think he can give orders, but I think he's better in a secondary position. It's really kind of flourishing a team, but we'll see what comes of him. Because I tell you what, I know he's happy that Ty's not around, laying the pipe on his wife. So, but we'll get into that.
Absolutely. Damn, I'm gonna come back to you with my question about Mother's Milk before we get off of him. How would you respond as a father with, your wife coming to you if you do have children, saying that our daughter said that you could eat a D and slam her door and she's having all of this erratic behavior because she misses the stepdaddy? How are we supposed to handle that?
Let me tell you, because I have a daughter. I got a 7-year-old daughter, and when that scene came up and the mother was telling MM about all stuff she said, I was like, okay, we're gonna pause on finding this man that you so obsessed with, because I gotta go deal with this lady. Because this little girl not gonna tell you to eat a what? Nah, that's not happening. But I get it in the sense of like when you a father, or I feel like when you a parent, period, you have to like balance being, because your kids coming from a different perspective. They don't have the world context that you have, so you have to like grade on the curve a little bit. And it's like, all right, I get it, because you got to understand that everything for a kid is the end of the world, and so because they haven't dealt with anything yet, and so I get it. But no, we're not having that. And and it was funny because I was watching this episode, and that morning I was talking to my wife about our daughter, and I was like, because she was having a temper tantrum. And it was legitimate. She was legitimately upset about something, and it was okay. But I'm like, but she was giving my wife lip. And I was like, we got to have a separation between, you can have emotions and deal, and your emotions are valid, but how you deal with them is totally separate. And so we got to have a separation between that and the parent. But I think for the show's purposes, I think that was just supposed to be funny.
It wasn't funny to me. I'm a parent. You better get on my face.
I'm like, what you gonna have? And I hate, because like I like shows with just good characters, so I try not to put race on it unless it's necessary. But I was like, why you gotta have the black dad gotta deal with the lip? Like, we don't do that over here on our side of parenting. We don't put up with that. But it was. I thought it was supposed to be funny, but I was like, that did stand out to me.
Absolutely. And I think I'm more over there with Elliot in the slow start of not even just the first episode, just like the first 3 episodes overall. The way that the past seasons have impacted me, like upon arrival, like the first, I'm like, oh, it just, it does something to me. This did not, and it's concerning me. It's concerning me. Like, there's, those staples that we love from the boys are still there, but I would be lying if I was just like, oh, these are the best, episodes so far. They were absolutely not. And I hope we don't stay here too long with Mother's Milk trying to bar butcher from the boys. Like, stop playing. We already know where it's going. We already know where this is going. Let my man's back in. But getting all the way away from this and Marvin leading the ship, we get here. The Matrix wanted Inception opening. Now look, I loved it. As soon as, they hit the Trinity, I need an exit, I need a door, I need a window, I need a way out. It was very, very Matrix. I love that. But we are trying to infiltrate the untouchable Vicky, and we're dealing with her being in debt to Homelander, and we also get to see, so I put she was a xenomorph. We got to see, these tentacles come out, that V shot that she got last season taking effect. Ashley, what did you think about the opening in the baby arm and Kamiko hitting the ground running as she always does?
So, I stand Kamiko. I love her. She's like my favorite from the beginning, right? The baby arm, Starlight's miss. Again, everything that could go wrong did. I really felt like the boys were fumbling in this part. As far as baby girl Zoe, though, with the Medusa out of the mouth, I was traumatized. I was horrified and I was scared. As soon as she opened her mouth, it was complete carnage, and I was here for it. I don't expect anything less, but I was surprised at just, she seems like a very scary kid. You know what I mean? Like you just immediately went from like 0 to 1,000. I wasn't expecting that from the first time we actually meet the smiling Zoe, right? So I didn't know what to make of it. Homelander is homelandering. We know he's like dealing with what I think is a midlife crisis, right? And so he and Newman's interaction, it's what we anticipate. But I was tickled by the baby arm. I laughed audibly. It was super fun. And when she hit the ground with a thud, I laughed as well. I shouldn't have. And Frenchie jumping on Starlight's back. Again, it gave typical, the boys.
It was more than it was disorder to me. The Bush should have a little type of art. I was just like, this is just it's unraveling before it even starts. Now, this is the first episode in the first mission, and I was just really surprised that Vicky just felt like she was in the free, like clear, like she wouldn't be in debt to Homelander. Homelander's always going to stay on your neck. Elliot, how did you feel about the opening and just really seeing Zoe in her state and Homelander putting that pressure on Vicky?
Yeah, no, really, again, even though I wasn't a fan of like the entire episode, I thought it was a good opening. The boys, when they do their missions together, man, it's just like I wish they were just in sync. Going back to, when you mentioned Kamiko trying to, with the baby arm, trying to catch Starlight and Frenchie, and there's still there's a mess. So I'm just excited to see them maybe get a good coordinated plan in place. But as far as Zoe, correct me if I'm wrong, but she took the V last year. Did she have a different dose than what was given to like Hughie and Butcher? Because are there no side effects to her as they have side effects? Like, is it a different batch of V out there that allows her to flourish and not die versus what they were given?
I was thinking the same thing. It has to be a stronger strain, especially since it came directly from Homelander. Who knows where he got it from? Like it had to.
So there's a batch out there that is bulletproof that you can take. It won't have any side effects.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I was just like, she's giving her daughter this V, and does she not know that there are side effects? So I mean, I don't want to theorize too much about like if Billy gets that batch, can he, I don't know, take that and sustain, and not die if there's no.
It's going to be something like that's another strike I have with the show. Like we can't lose Butcher, we just can't. So it's like. Whenever the thing that's going to happen that's going to save him, I can't wait till that happens. But I hope we don't lean too far into, I only have such and such time left. Like you got all the road, which I'm not playing with you. You got this season and the next one after that. Stop. There is no show without you.
I'll say this: they wouldn't bring in Jeffrey Dean Morgan for without a purpose. Maybe he's the kind of replacement of Billy. Because they have a similar type of personality. Just them as actors are very kind of similar in their style and whatnot. So that it might be the replacement.
And I'm hoping he's a villain, Elliot. I really, really am. Like that will make my day. I'm hoping it's giving Walking Dead. I'm hoping he pull out a bat and he's just instantly. Kay, how did you feel about this opening? Did you love it? Were you living for it?
I was pleasantly surprised because I was like, did they give her compound V or the T virus? Because they put me in the midst of Resident Evil immediately. Because like you said, she seemed like a light, sweet, timid girl. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I feel like I'm playing a video game. We should be shooting at this child. And just like her mom, they're like indestructible. So exactly what version of compound V did they get? And the boys was not ready for the mom or the daughter. They are just all over the place. And good Lord, if Kamiko was not indestructible, she'd been gone that fast.
They need to get an additional suit. I'm tired of them using Kamiko as a human shield. I need them to get one more person. Dom, how did you feel about the open? Did you love it?
Well, like I said, I liked the opening, I guess, apparently more than some of y'all. But it seemed like it seemed like an Ocean's 11 type opening, like when they were at the the event. But to me, the boys always kind of fail upwards, right? And I think that was the difference between like Butcher style and MM style is even because even when Butcher's at the lead, they still seem chaotic. It seems like stuff still goes wrong, but Butcher kind of has a way to like lean into the chaos. So he was like, yeah, the chaos is I'm using the chaos because it's disorienting everybody else. And we're just going to use the chaos to, achieve our goal by any means necessary. But MM seemed like because of the OCD, probably, and he likes things in such order. If things don't go exactly to the T according to plan, he can't adapt. And that's why, like what was said earlier, he's probably a much better like assistant or first mate type of situation.
A muscle, just come through with the phone.
Just hit something.
The kind of the rational one at times and the muscle. That's where you stay at. Let's see. I don't have a lot of time left. Butcher's on borrowed time and out of the boys, the indecision how to save Ryan. Now, throughout the episodes, I thought this was pretty cool because we always can rely on Butcher to make the wrong decision and kind of do what he's, known to do. And it's always the bad decision, but he's always for the greater good. But it's normally just selfishly to get accomplished what he wants. Here we see him. I'm like, did Butcher really turn over a new leaf this season? Like, he never. You can always kind of rely on him to be Butcher, and it just kind of seems like he may be moving a little different this go round. Kay, I am going to come to you first. How long do you think Mother's Milk and just the boys in general? Because at this point, Hughie's the only one just gunning for him to be a part of the group. Or just him kind of, not giving Ryan those cookies, not, using Hughie's keys to use the flash drive situation to get those hidden pictures of Vicky. He's like, no, I'm going to do this the right way. Since when?
When he's been faced with mortality. I mean, when you got death looking over your shoulder, I mean, you move a little bit differently. He's like, I mean, why not take a risk that the others can't? Because he's okay with losing his life. What does he got to lose? He can literally, if anybody else, risk it all and be fine with it. Because I think in his mind, like, if I'm going to go, I'm going to give him hell on the way out.
We'll see. Dom?
I think it's a combination. I do think it's his impending mortality that's kind of readjusting his priorities. But at the same time, I think we have to remember that Butcher's always been Butcher. But a lot of his more ruthless part of his personality that we know in the boys is because of Becca, is because of the loss of Becca. And so I think now he's starting to not only look at his life differently, but he's seeing Ryan and not only just seeing Homelander anymore. Because I think before, every time he looked at Ryan, he only saw Homelander, and it was the thumb in the wound of losing Becca. But now, like he said, when he was bonding with him, which I really love that scene with him bonding and then playing foosball, but he was like, you're the last part of her that's still around. And I think that's a big part of recontextualizing like Butcher's like by any means necessary mentality.
Elliot, how did you feel about it? And how do you feel about, I really just did not like how, even though I know it's going to shift, Homelander is not seeing Butcher as that enemy or as a threat. It's like, oh, look at all that black matter around your brain. Let me just walk around you. You're in, what? No, I need them to be going at it. Like, that's what I love about the boys. Him just being, a wash away, like you're not even a threat anymore. I need Butcher to be a threat. How do you feel about this, Elliot?
Well, I mean, that's the tough line about the boys, and I'm sure we'll get into it as far as just like them. I'm glad that they announced that season 5 was the last one, because at this point, it's kind of a stretch of imagination that the boys are still alive. That they haven't been killed. Like I always have to put that in the back of my mind. Like, let's just go along. Because obviously, if they weren't here, you have no other side of the show. But I mean, I think Homelander, in a cynical way, it's like the yin and yang Batman and Joker type of situation that he's gonna always have Butcher around just to kind of be that motivational factor to him, because as we saw in this episode, he's bored with life. He's peaked the mountain of VOD. He has all the fear that he wants, at least from some people. So I think Butcher is just like something that's just like, this is the antagonizing person that pushes me, that can get under my skin and push my buttons. So it is going to be interesting to see how they come ahead, because they still have to have that big fight that they want to talk about. But who's to say they teamed up last season technically with them taking out Soldier Boy together? So who's to say that they might not team up again if Ryan's life comes to play, and whether that's Joe or Grace or someone else comes to the matter, or even Sister Sage, they might have a partnership alluding to each other. Or Victoria, Vicky, her stepping up. So I like their dynamic. I wish they had a little bit more screen time together, but I'm really intrigued to see what they do with these two.
Oh man, Elliot, I hope they don't team up. I want them to be just bloody enemies all their life.
Yeah.
Ashley, how did you feel about this and just the dynamic of Butcher overall? Like, he's never looked this bad.
Yeah, Butcher. I have a love-hate relationship with Billy because I don't like how he played my baby Ryan earlier in the earlier seasons. But I will say this. It seems like the closer he is coming to his end, the more in touch he's becoming with his own humanity. And I love that for him, right? And I actually love to see him kind of humble himself, reach out to Ryan, make this effort, and kind of see him really willing to sacrifice it all, even possibly betray Hughie, who is really his ride or die, to make arrangements to ensure that Ryan grows up to be good, right? I like the dynamic of him kind of being at a disadvantage. I think, again, this is really about Billy becoming humble in this moment. I think it's going to be short-lived. I do not think that Billy's going anywhere. I think we're going to see Butcher. I think a cure soon come, okay? Because honestly, I don't know what Hughie would do if he lost both his dad and Butcher this season. So I'm really hopeful that we'll find a cure for Billy.
We have to. He said, please. Butcher is a lot of things. But getting in touch with his humanity and, begging, like, I can't do it without your help. I can't do it alone, please. And I was like, all right, Mother's Milk, welcome him on into the books. But he was like, nope, you got to go. I was like, oh, Marvin. I know that Butcher is the worst. Like, Billy is terrible, but I just knew that Milk was going to break in that moment. Like, all right, we'll help you. Just if it's about you and Ryan for the greater good, like, I'll put my animosity to the side. And it was like, nope, I'm not doing it. Does anybody trust our ex-colleague? What did you call him, Ashley? Who do you know him as?
Denny.
I don't know who that is. Child, that's Walking Dead.
Grey's Anatomy.
That's Daddy Winchester.
That's Dad from Supernatural.
Does anybody trust him at all? Because I don't.
Hell no. Not in the slightest.
Any particular reason why we should trust him? Because he's just kind of brought in, and the way that he just kind of sought him out, he just kind of popped up on Butcher like, well, yeah, you should do this. It's like he's kind of finding him at his lowest point to where he doesn't have anybody. So let me kind of monopolize this person to try to save Ryan. I'm like, no, I think he has an ulterior motive because Butcher is making it clear we're saving him for this reason. It's not for him to be a rival or save the world or suit up against Homelander. It's not that. I don't think this is going to work. Does anybody see this going any other route? And how did anybody feel about because we have him talk. First, I thought he was talking to us when we have Butcher. Like, don't start with me. I'm in bad shape. Don't even start. I was like, oh, he's talking to Becca. Then I'm gonna come to you first. How did you feel about him talking to Becca and just the likes of him teaming up with other sources because he does not have the boys, even though he's still there. Oh,
did he freeze?
I think he might have. Unless he hitting the post, he might have froze.
Oh, there he goes.
Are you talking to me? I thought you.
Yes, no.
Man,
yes, no, it's you.
I was. My bad. I thought you were talking to somebody else.
No, you're fine.
No. Well, of course we should. As much as I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan and anything that he is, of course we shouldn't trust them because, well, anybody on TV who works for the CIA, unless they're the main character, you shouldn't trust them. That's just what TV has taught me. And then anybody who works for the government but sits in their chair all cool and isn't straight laced. I think he's trying to use Ryan. I think it's gonna be like terrible. Like it's something that's gonna break Butcher. Like he's gonna make Ryan like a Trojan horse. Like the virus from Gen V. They're gonna modify, they're gonna get right, they're gonna put it in Ryan and use him to like take out Homelander. Like it's gonna be something crazy to where Butcher is gonna like have to go scorched earth to save this little boy. I think it's gonna be something crazy because I think it's gonna end up Butcher versus everybody. I think where we're going is Butcher is going to be like, I can't, y'all not helping me, and I'm gonna go through y'all. So either if you're not standing next to me, I'm just gonna go through everybody. And I think that's how Butcher's going, because especially because he's faced with his own mortality, he doesn't care about anything but making it right with Ryan.
Elliot, do you think there's some arterial motive going on, or is he really trying to do right by Ryan?
I mean, this is an interesting situation with Butcher, and especially going back to like the Joe connection. Because there's one way you can look at it. Always, whenever I see a character like isolated to just one character speaking to one another, it makes you kind of wonder if that person's even there. And I'm referring to, obviously we saw Butcher talking to a made up Becca hallucination. We haven't seen Joe interact with anyone else than Butcher. And they alluded to something happened 11 years ago that he saved his life. I don't know if he actually did save his life. And it's almost like that good angel, bad angel discussion that he's really, Joe's not even really a person. It's like his subconscious of like, this is the evil side of telling him this is who you used to be. You need to go back to that old Butcher to get it done. So it'll be interesting if we finally see Joe talking to someone else other than Butcher, because right now I'm thinking that he might be that not guilty conscience, but like that the devil on the shoulder telling him to do the bad thing, which is killing all the Supes, make Ryan into a superhuman, super villain to take out Homelander. So I'm gonna keep my eye on them to see where that goes with Joe. But outside of that, I'm hoping that Butcher makes the right decision moving forward. But again, like I said, I think Joe is that person that's gonna push him back to just the episode 1, season 1 Butcher, where he was ready to kill any and every Supe, no matter what. Because he's changed since we first met him. He hooked up with Maeve. He now has a stepson that's a Supe. Working with Supe with Starlight. So he needs that devil on the shoulders kind of poke at him, like get back to that old Butcher.
Oh, Elliot, that's good. That'll make a lot of sense for Butcher. That would and I was wondering, I'm like, why isn't he interacting with anyone else in the office space or taking him into? He's always like going one off somewhere, and then the only other time we see him is in Butcher's home. I can get with that. Ashley.
I think seeing Kessler, I think he's a representation of who Butcher was, and so I definitely think it's definitely going to be Joe versus Billy this season. And I think it may be, I think Dom said it, a scorched earth scenario, because just the way that Billy was about getting retribution for Becca, I think he's going to put that same energy into saving Ryan. And I think Kessler is who Billy was before. Soup's got to go by any means necessary. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I think what they'll have to do, because Billy's at a disadvantage, at some point pretty quickly, they're going to have to level the playing field. Otherwise, it's not really going to be kind of a fair fight, right? So I'm like, okay, how's this going to work? How is Billy actually going to be viable enough? He's getting sicker every moment. He's bleeding from the ear. You know what I mean? So I'm just wondering what they're going to throw in there to kind of balance this out. But I definitely don't think they'll be in alliance or allies at all. I think this is definitely going to be a situation where he wants to make Ryan a war machine or something. Yeah.
In case, speaking of his ear leaking and that thumping in that temple, the moment that he decided to make the right decision with sending over those files to Vicky, it went down. I'm like, okay, this better not be a Grinch situation. Like, oh, Butcher's heart grew 5 times larger just because he's been doing the right thing and now he's healthy again. Kay, what do you think about this situation? And just that thumping in his temple just going down slightly because he did the right thing.
Is he doing the right thing for the right reasons, or does he know that he's trying to do better because he's about to die? Like, you have to think about what the motivation is here. Because if he wasn't faced with mortality, would he actually be doing the right thing anyway?
Butcher.
Exactly. He would be just like Negan over here. And honestly, I mean, if you really think about it, he might have a point. Like, what if Ryan grows up to be just like his dad? We don't know what he's going to be like. What are they going to do? If he's saying, like, if we don't intervene now, which we could actually intervene now, if we leave him in Homelander's hands, we're going to have a problem on our hands. I mean, he kind of right.
Absolutely. This is what this is why the episodes were taking me out, because we still have Butcher technically there. Like, we can't remove or take too much time or episodes having him far removed from the boys, and then you guys can't handle yourselves. Like the way he came through at the party situation, you know, it's not a boys episode. We don't see one penis per episode. The way he came in on the end with that crowbar and saving the day, and it's just like, or even the moment of, let me think. I was like, am I thinking like Butcher when we first meet Sage and they're telling her, and I'm like, oh my God, Milk, she's the smartest woman in the world. I'm sure she knows you're there. And it's just like, why are we leaning back? Does she have any additional powers? Let's go capture her. Like, it's just like, you do not have the heart for this. And Ash, I'm going to come to you. How long do you think we're going to have to deal with Butcher being boys adjacent? Because I can't take too much more.
Yeah, I give it one more episode at best. They're crashing and burning bad. Like every situation. Like episode 2 really pissed me off. Like, come on, guys. Like we walked right into this. We walked right into it. Okay. Yeah, we need him back. And again, I like Mother's Milk. I really, really adore his character. I just, yeah, he's not cut out for this part of it. You know what I mean? We need Billy back.
Absolutely. Like, if he can handle it with his crowbar, I'm like, y'all should be able to handle y'all. So even though we had the clone situation, y'all, how long y'all been around being the boys? I expected that to go a little different. It was just like, oh, we just can't handle it without the boy, without a Butcher. It just seems like they never fought a fight in their life. But you guys, we have about 40 people here. It would be great if we could get 50 with this first live and get that engagement up. Y'all know I come here for a good time and to laugh. So let me play something, get you guys in there, and we will be right back. Let's see. Let me get into the deep, because y'all know the deep is always doing some crass stuff. We'll be right back, y'all.
Just desire, you cannot waste it. Then if you want it, then I want you to taste it. She wants to give it, all she wants to give it. She wants to give it, all she wants to give it. She wants to get it, yeah. All she wants to give it, she wants to give it, all she wants to give it.
One thing in life you must understand. If you choose to trust woman, just open the door and you will see there are no secrets. Make your move, set me free.
Because there's something about you, baby, that makes me want to give it to you. There's something about you, baby.
Just promise me whatever we say and whatever we do to each other. For now, we'll make a vow to just keep it in the closet.
If he don't take his wife out that closet, if he don't take the woman in his life out of that closet, playing her, hiding her behind them clothes, don't do that. Don't do that. She's the only person who really loves you. Don't do that, Kevin. Don't do that. And I know you can't stand the deep, Ashley. You look so disgusted when when the video played. I love it.
He's a predator and he's disgusting. And I was mad at Sister Sage, but we'll get to that later on.
I can't wait to get you guys' opinion on Sister Sage. Getting into Homelander's midlife crisis. This is all for Ryan. Gray hairs, the state of Ryan's disposition, inner demons of rejection. We're getting into Homelander getting older, collecting those gray hairs in a jar. And it is just like, I can't believe we got this far to have a midlife crisis. And what was taking me back this entire situation with Homelander is right off the bat, oh, this is just too much. There's no combativeness in the 7. Like, y'all do whatever I say. I need, like, anybody who's ever challenged anything you said in the past were dealt with. Now all of a sudden you need a challenge and everybody's just so complacent. But Elliot, I'm going to come to you. How did you feel about Homelander dealing with those inner demons and realizing that he is getting older?
Best villain on TV getting older. Yeah, no, it's an interesting concept. Again, he's just bored with life. He's now running VOD after Edgar being out of there and hiring Ashley to be just kind of a yes woman in that position. And he's looking for a challenge. And I think this, and I'll tell you right now, Sage, her new addition, she's obviously, she's with the bad team, but I think she has her own little secret motives behind the scenes. But she challenges him. And I like the dynamic. They're my favorite dynamic in the first 3 episodes so far. Just how she tells him how it is and how to, come up with this plan to do a full takeover. So I love what they're doing with Homelander so far. There's no one physically on in the universe of the boys that can challenge him. Maybe his dad and Soldier Boy, but I like that they're having this inner battle with him battling Father Time, which is undefeated. So I'm liking what they're doing with that. The secret jar of the pubes got me thinking of, for those that are familiar with the comics, there is a particular situation that involves a clone that he wasn't aware of, but I think that this show might do the reverse of that, where because he's saying these things to Ryan like we need to merge, be the better, kind of like a better version of him. But I'm thinking that he's gonna maybe create his own better version of himself, which might be something to keep an eye out for, just keeping those little hairs and what have you. So it'll be interesting to see how he again defeats Father Time by creating an ultimate version of himself. So I'm really liking what they're doing with him so far.
The last thing we need, another Homelander running around. Dom, how do you feel about those gray hairs in the jar, that memorabilia?
the gray hairs in the jar in the Nazi case. Was just crazy. When I saw that when he started pulling the gray pubes out and we started seeing his descent, it made me think of like this was like the inverse or kind of like the broken mirror version of the Incredibles. So because that was the first Incredibles movie where Mr. Incredible was going through this dissatisfaction with his life, and because he had fell from his peak, like he missed his old college days. And this is kind of like the opposite, where Homelander has achieved everything, all of his passions, everything he could have done. And so where's the fulfillment in his life? And so he's looking for some sort of fulfillment in his life. And with Sister Sage being a surrogate, because he needs a new Madeline Stillwell, and he realized that he needs somebody who's going to emotionally challenge him and keep him kind of sharp in a sense, in his own twisted way. And so because I think Homelander honestly is more self-aware than I think is presented to us, in a sense of like he understands his own shortcomings in certain senses, and like he understands like what he needs to be the most optimal version of himself in his mind. And I think as we see his descent increase, I think we're going to see him kind of put these things together to make a better version of himself. Like he was saying, I think maybe Ryan is going to turn into like what that is. Instead of being a clone, it might be like a mind transfer type of thing where I need a new body. But I do think we're going to see I need to get back to my prime type of Homelander.
Kay, do you think that Homelander could ever put his pride and his own agenda to the side to be a real father to Ryan, or is he going to consistently continue to try to live vicariously through Ryan because he's young and the natural born soup? It's muted, Kay.
Muted.
There we go. Trying to make sure I didn't talk over anybody else. There is no cure for being a sociopath. Okay, if you have a personality disorder or anything like that, there's no cure for that. This is the Homelander that we have. And what I noticed, have you noticed the parallel between him and Butcher? Homelander is now realizing that he's not virtually indestructible and that he is getting older. Getting older means I can face death, just like Butcher is. And they're both kind of using Ryan to hold on to a little piece of life. And it's like a tug of war between both of them as they're faced with, I'm not going to be here forever. Maybe Ryan could be my legacy.
Oh, child. Ryan can't do nothing by himself. Ashley?
Back though what Kay said, that was super insightful, because I had the notion, right, that I think that Butcher actually wants him more of a legacy, or like, this is my work, this is my completed work that I finished while I was in the earth. While I think what we saw from Homelander was, yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of this little guy and I want to relive these moments. So I think it kind of goes back to what everyone said, right? What is Homelander going to do to use Ryan? Because clearly he's not a good dad. He doesn't really love Ryan. That's not love. Okay. And so how is he going to manipulate this situation to make it work out to his end? Like even when he wanted to go to the first save, it was like, Homelander, why did you want to find your way here? Because you're not ready to give up your spot. You're not ready to give it up. Yeah, I think he wants to take over little Ryan. Poor stink.
Yeah, they hit about them wrinkles and all of that editing out and all the heavy makeup we had to do because he's aging. You know, he's ready for prime time. Whereas Homelander, he need a little bit more elbow grease to be presented to the masses. Yeah, Ryan should definitely run because all of this, once he showed up and he's interjecting, why am I not on the call sheet? You are a fully established thing, but he is masking everything as this is for Ryan when it's really not. I want to know. When do you guys think he's going to turn on Ryan? Because it's going to happen. It's absolutely. If it's not going to be because he's jealous, it's going to be because Ryan is a little too invested in Butcher.
Once he realized that he can't trust Ryan like he can't trust most of the people that are around him. As you can see, Homelander is disconnected from the Seven, as well as like Butcher's disconnected from the boys. Black Noir was his guy. That was his guy. He's not connected to New Black Noir anymore. Him and Maeve were friends in the beginning at one point, and they aren't now. So he's not, he feels a distrust within the Seven. And I think Ryan is the last little piece of trust that he has. And once he finds out that that's not there, that's all it's going to take.
Elliot, when do you think Ryan gonna wise up and run? Like I need Ryan to that. I can even say Ryan a little slide. I don't like Ryan, y'all. I'm sorry. Ryan get on my nerves. Ryan is extremely annoying for me. I was hoping with the new season we would see some growth in Ryan and just his awareness. But the meek, am I doing it right? I mean, I understand he's supposed to be 12. Okay, maybe age him a little bit because he don't look like little Ryan no more. Is giving 15, but. The lack of awareness, and I just don't know. Like I'm just really over Ryan's character, and I need him to wake up. Episode 4, Elliot.
I've always gave Ryan a little bit of leeway because he was raised in a house with his mom for the first 12 years. Like he knows no things outside of that house. So all of this is like literally brand new. Father, media, video. Like this is so new to him. So I've always given him like I said, that leeway. And I don't know if he'll ever run from his dad. This is all he knows is I had his mom, and I now have a dad. So I don't know if he has that independent mindset of breaking out of it. And I hope they address, because going back to the season finale, when his dad killed that guy, he smiled. So I don't know if he is as innocent as we think he is in that sense, and he might, like I said, I don't necessarily think he is going to run. But the trailer, I wish they would never give it away, showing that. For those Gen V fans like myself, Sam and Kate, there was a scene in the trailer with them, and we know that Kate can make you do whatever she wants. And we saw Sam was like, make me forget everything, take away all my pain. I wouldn't be surprised if Homelander has Kate come in and do that to Ryan. Remove your attachment to Butcher, remove your attachment to caring about humans. So he might force that thing on him where Kate makes him be more like him. But like I said, he might not have to do that because, like I said, I think there is something in Ryan that enjoys some of the stuff that his dad does due to the fact that he smiled when that guy was murdered last year. So I'm very, very intrigued to see what they do with him. And I hope it's not just he wants to run away and go to Butcher. I hope there is that gray area where Ryan maybe does enjoy some of the darkness because he does.
And Negan will be right.
Yeah. I hope they go that route, because if they go the innocent route, it's just like, oh, we've seen that. Like I want them to play with the idea that, can we trust Ryan? Like I hope they play with that.
I thought we would, and I was getting ready to start trying to like Ryan's character. I ain't never gave Ryan's character no grace. I just didn't like him up on introduction. I thought with him smiling last season that we were going to really get into him living for and learning and taking after Homelander and making it even harder for Butcher to, pull him away. It's just like he's just still really indecisive and in the middle and just meek and, oh, I killed someone. I can't deal with that too much. Okay. How do you feel about just I guess just Ryan? Like I just don't like Ryan. He a downer.
Like that's why I said, Jeffrey Dean Morgan he might got a point. I don't think we should just discredit him because he's a child. We might have a point, because what if he turns into his father? Then what? Okay. Then I think, and I really think that he's probably stronger than Homelander, because he can play both sides. He can have a whole lot of humanity in him because he was raised that way, but he can also go very, very dark. He's got a lot of skills from a lot of different people.
I hope so, because I just knew we was gonna get like the Omen, Brightburn type of. I was like, oh, he's still chilling. Ashley, you here for Ryan? Because I'm not.
I am. I like Baby Ryan, and I really hope that we get to explore his duality more. Right? I want to see that more. This so far, he's still leaning towards the good, and I love that for him. He still has a shock factor when he sees his dad do atrocious things. And I love that. I need us to keep that, because I'm scared when he goes dark, it's going to be bad business for everybody. But I like the struggle. I like seeing that. And hopefully they amplify that more in the next couple of episodes before he, officially picks a side.
They better, because I can't take him moping too much. Dom, you here for little baby here? Little Ryan.
I feel like this is your this is the subject, the part that you are least enthused.
I can't stand Ryan. I'm sorry.
I was kind of like everybody else at the end of last season when he killed that guy and he smiled a little bit. I was like, okay, yeah, we in for a Brightburn season. But at the same time, I think that Ryan's duality, the nurturing of his mother and the confidence that his dad gives him, I think he's struggling between that, but he still has empathy. And I think the problem is when you're not a sociopath, being raised by a sociopath, there are things that won't connect. And I think the dividing part, I actually don't think like the dividing part is when he killed somebody. I think the moment where Homelander, when he was crying about killing the guy, and Homelander was trying to console him, and then he was like, I think that's was the first click in Homelander's mind that this kid isn't gonna be who I want him to be, so I'm just gonna make this kid me. And I think that's where Homelander's perception of Ryan is starting to change. And I think Ryan, I'm hoping that Ryan is like a middle character, right? So he's not, I don't want him to go down the good character and be Superman, but I also don't want him to be General Zod either. I want him to be like, you know what? I'm just out here for me, and the people I rock with, I'm gonna protect, but all y'all can kind of kick rocks. Like if that's where he ends up, I'll be fine with that.
I can definitely do middle. I can't do mopey. I can do middle. I can do middle. I can do middle.
A teenager. That's the thing. I think if he was a teenager and going through like teenage, that's what I think we need with Ryan. We need to see him do some character development on his own, like away from the parent figures. We need to see him. He probably need to be. I know Gen V is college.
But he
needs to be like with them.
Yeah,
because seeing him progress like that and make his own decisions and have to live with the consequences of his decisions outside of the parental figures, I think that would be the best thing for his character.
All right, I'm gonna wait on it. I know he's been sheltered, so I've been giving him some patience. But by the time we got to the third episode, I was like, "All right, hurry up, hurry up." Hopefully, he gets better, and he's a really, really great character. Sister Sage, the smartest person in the world, Homelander's right hand, recruiter and mastermind, sleeping with the deep, and agent of chaos. Now, there has been a whole lot of discussion around Sister Sage. I'm not going to front like I didn't get Magical Negro a little bit. I got it a little bit just when she first got there, and it just seemed like, we would have never thought to even conceptualize those things unless this person would, like, it's just she's just there to really just fix everything. I am having an issue with her being the smartest woman in the world person and her being underneath Homelander and being his right hand. I would think, she would have her own. I'm hoping, I am hoping like hell that there is a higher purpose, and it's be a big aha moment of, just when you thought Sister Sage was one thing, with her being this brilliant woman, she had her own agenda this whole time, and she manipulated everybody, even Homelander. I'm hoping it's that, and she's just not here to be the lackey. Ashley, I know you had a whole lot to say about Sister Sage.
Yeah.
So
Because it wasn't like approaching Magical Negro. That's exactly who she was to me in my mind. As soon as I watched it, I was like, oh my Lord. So now that I've had a day though to sit with it, okay. And I've just peeped how she's navigating, right? The Caesar reference. I'm like, okay, so maybe she's Brutus. I can get behind a Brutus in this situation. As long as she has her own agenda, I'll stick beside Sister Sage. But if it's all just about her proximity to Homelander and what she can do for him and how she's going to navigate for him to serve his purposes and clear the road, I can't get behind that. But again, we're early in the season, right? This is satire, and I will give it up for the boys. You know, it took me a long time. This is one of the best series that I've seen demonstrate what satire really should be. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching. I got my eyes peeled. They're open, right? And I'm gonna give my good sister. Okay, I'm gonna give her a chance. I just listen. I need it. I need her agenda and plan to come clear in the next 2 episodes. Okay, the next 2.
it has to be. Kay, how do you feel about Sister Sage? Do you feel like she has her own individual agenda? And how did you feel about her sleeping with the Deep? And why do you feel like she slept with the Deep?
In my mind, because I'm like, she has to have her own plan. If you're the smartest person, you have to have your own agenda. You have to have a plan B, C, and D. But when she slept with the Deep, of all the people you could get, of all the people, you went to the scum of the. I'm like, is she really the smartest person? Because that was not smart at all. There ain't no way. Even whatever plan she secretly got, if we got to go through him to get it, I don't even want that. I don't even want the plan. I don't want it. It ain't even worth it.
Oh, Elliot, I can't with you. I'm going to come to you because in that moment of her sleeping with the Deep, I want to know how you feel about Sister Sage's character and her dynamic with Homelander overall, and also the bloody, I don't know what that was on the table that was referenced when we do get into her sleeping with the Deep and her demeanor being different. How did you feel about that scene also?
Well, to address that scene, I think, and I kind of alluded to it in my video, and I rewatched it, and some people have kind of mentioned in my comment section that it's something to do with like her performing her own lobotomy and messing with her own brain. Because when you rewatch that scene, the way she's even talking is not even the same stage. Like she's, talking about Transformers 2. She seems very dumbed down from what we've seen her with. So I think there's like something she has to do to like relieve pressure in her brain or to shut her brain off because it's always going, a mile, 100 miles per minute. So there's something there with her. And there's also something there about her being kicked out of the group with A-Train when they were younger. So there's something secret or something that she's holding because, if you're the smartest person in the world living in a small apartment, like to me, they're kind of positioning her as like a Lex Luthor to Superman. Like what if Lex Luthor and Superman work together? Because why wouldn't she be a billionaire if she's so smart, working in finances, manipulating, stock exchanges? So there's something that's holding her back, or she's secretly working with someone else, maybe Grace, the CIA. There's something more to her than just being a number 2 to Homelander, because there is that side of Homelander. I think Don brought it up. He does have a thing where it's like, whether it's Madeline in season 1, Stormfront in season 2, he always attaches himself to women that tell him what to do. So besides that, I think there is something more to Sister Sage that's going to be revealed than just being a number 2 and just, helping someone else's plan versus their own. So, but besides that, I've really enjoyed her. I love her pushback and her giving some advice to the Deep, talking to Ashley and all that stuff. And again, there's a lot of spoken shit. Yeah, so I like her so far. I like her, and I like the actress to go, toe to toe with Anthony Starr, who I think is one of the more dynamic actors in the show. I like their back and forth and their banter so far.
Oh yeah, I love that. And she's extremely self-aware about her position here or just in the world as a Black woman. So I know that there has to be just something bigger happening. But Dom, I'm going to come to you. How did you feel about Sister Sage? Because I saw you nodding over there at that Negro comment. Was it giving Negro spiritual to you?
Well, yeah, because to me it wasn't even subtle at this point. but it was a great surprise for me. Well, first, I love Sister Sage, and I'm from Michigan, so all the Detroit T-shirts I was rocking with. But when they were releasing like the promotional material for this season, and we saw like the posters for Firecracker and Sister Sage, and I only like I'm not reading. I think she's a new character for the show. I don't know that she's in the comics. But I thought that because of how The Boys does, I thought she was going to be like an analog for Black conservatism. And I thought she was going to be like a superhero Candace Owens type of character. That's what I was expecting. And so when we meet her, and she is the textbook definition of a magical Negro, she has no personal ambitions. She's only there to help the main character, white guy. I was like, okay, so. And then when we ended and she's sleeping with the Deep, I'm like, the motivation for her sleeping with the Deep, I think, is going to tell the rest of her season. Because if it was some emotional thing where this is just you was here at the right time at the right moment, then I'm like, okay, well, maybe she isn't as interesting as I thought she would be. But if we see the aftermath of that, and this is just one chess piece along to destabilize something, to build her own thing, and she has her own motivation, and she's just putting all the pieces together, then I'm gonna be, because I really like her character. I really like how she portrays it, and they got me already once in these 3 episodes, because when we were talking earlier about Butcher and MM following her, and we kept seeing these texts about 9 p.m. in Deep's room, I was like, she kind of slacking. Like, it shouldn't be easy to figure it out. But then when they walked into a trap, I was like, okay, so she is at least smarter than everybody else on the show so far. And so if we see her putting, because I know Elliot talked about how they're supposed to be like, what if Lex Luthor and Superman work together? And I'm hoping that that's just like the facade, and she's really Ozymandias from The Watchmen. And it's like, yeah, and it's like, by the time I tell you my plan, it was done 5 minutes ago. Like, that's what I'm hoping that she is.
She has to, because if she knows, like everybody else know, any woman who has attached themselves to Homelander, they're all dead. So she has to have a plan.
To your point, I hope that she's keeping tabs. Like, I hope that she is having something as a safe, fail-safe for. We got Homelander instructing the Deep and A-Train and Noir to kill these 3 men, and just keeping tabs, because we all know Homelander's going to eventually turn on her. She has to have something up her sleeve. Like, there has to be. I don't think she's as straightforward as the show might want to present it.
Now, we do have some of the more funny moments in the show. I do have to ask you guys' opinion on it, because it's me, and we love Firecracker, and we got a clone situation, but we also got penis, pink eye, and parties. Actually, I'm gonna come to you first, because I just love you. How did you feel about the scenes in this clone we got, and him let's say giving himself some action 5 times over, and him multiplying at the function? How did you feel about that?
Okay, y'all know, I'm a little bit delicate when it comes to it, and it did not appeal to my better nature, if I can be quite honest with you. I wasn't expecting it when we opened the sauna room door and we saw what we saw. I couldn't unsee it, right? But then when he got the pink eye and he's in love with Firecracker, it was a little bit traumatizing. I will say, Prime Video, you guys did your big one, because I saw the nod to the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. If you guys have not watched at least the first 2 seasons of that show, are really, really good. And I thought it was cute. She was having her bat mitzvah, and they come in and bust up the party. As far as Firecracker is concerned, I can almost deal with a supremacist, fringe right-winger as long as they have the courage of their convictions. But knowing this is all a scam and a front, I'm like, come on, Firecracker. Like, come on, sis. He put up a great fight. Her little guy put up a great fight. He multiplied over and over again. I said, okay, what happens to the original? And then they go, oh, Prime or the original, whichever. And then they all drop. Hey, it was a moment. But again, another failed mission without Billy. If Butcher hadn't have been there, they'd have been toast. Yeah.
Kay, were you here for it? I love this. I don't know how you could watch and binge all the seasons, Ashley, and not expect to see this kind of behavior in The Boys. Like, if it didn't happen in the show, I'll be like, what's going on? We ain't gonna get no nudity, no penis, no butt shots, no nothing, like no grotesque situations. It has to be there. Kay, how did you feel about that pink guy and Frenchie going, no, get away from me. I don't want that ass eye. Get that away.
And then they just kept multiplying it. Like it wasn't enough to show it to us one time. They kept showing it. He's just like naked 50 times.
Just over and over.
And it's just
Frontal.
like the boys is like, I want to tell you a good story in the cringiest way possible. You're going to be entertained and grossed out at the same time. And as much as like I want to look away, you can't, because it's like I want to know what's going on in the story, but do I gotta see this part of the story to get the whole story? This is crazy. And I mean, I love that we get different variants of people that have like the compound V in their system, and sometimes we got to get the bottom of the barrel. Everybody ain't, Homelander, everybody ain't Queen Maeve. Some of us are just multiplying and being nasty.
Was it me, Kato? I mean, the behavior was bottom of the barrel, but you cloning yourself could be a really essential power. And I thought so. I was like,
was he using his power for good?
I think he could have been up there. He could have been over with the 7. He could have been the 8. He couldn't have quite been in the 7, but he could have been like the 9th, 10th situation. That was a useful power for you to be using it for your own little sick human centipede advantage.
Exactly. He was exactly. That's the first thing I thought was human centipede. I said, you look nasty. Of all the things you could be doing with this, robbing banks and stuff, or just by your lonesome, and you want to do this.
Elliot, did the pink eye party do anything for you?
I mean, no, it was. I mean, that's the thing with the boys. Expect the unexpected, and that's even though that was completely caught. Like that was not on my big on card to see a the human centipede scene. But that's what I love about the boys. Honestly, is just like obviously when we think we have superpowers, as Kay was just saying, you think people would robbing banks, having these crazy plans. Oh, I can murder someone and get away with murder because I have duplicates of myself. But in reality, there's some sick people out there, and someone would do exactly like he would did, and that's why I love going back to what they were saying earlier, as far as like Ashley said about the satire of it. It's just like in reality, not everyone's going to use their powers for good. They're going to be doing some really dumb, perverted, sick stuff. So that's why I always love the boys lean into that aspect. But as far as I love going back to Marvelous Miss Maisel. Shout out to Rachel, aka Lois Lane. Pretty soon, but I love the product placement. I think it was in the same episode because we got that, and the Amazon also had when they were doing the Ryan rehearsal. There was a bunch of Amazon boxes that they were rehearsing around. So nice little way to have some product placement in it. But yeah, that between the Human Centipede and last year's opener with the Ant-Man scene, it's just like, and we can't forget Hero Gasm. I mean, like I'm always impressed by how much they get away with on television. Or streaming, I guess, because not really television. But yeah.
Love it. Dog, were you living for the pink eye party?
So the boys is I don't know how they keep one up in the crazy, because when they were turning the knob to the sauna, I was like, I know the boys. I've been watching the boys for 3 seasons. I was bracing myself. I was like, something crazy is behind this door. I thought I was prepared for it, and then I was like, thoroughly not ready. But at the same time, I think the boys does a really good job of contextualizing or portraying stuff that, like, from a nerd perspective, when you watch all these superhero shows and all these superhero movies, and they have to, the superhero shows, because everything's PG-13, they have to like clean it up. And so it shows like the real way that it would happen, because we've seen characters in X-Men like Multiple Man who can make copies of himself, but his clothes get copied with him, and it's very clean and it's not gruesome at all. But no, if I was making a copy of myself, it would be painful. My clothes not replicating too, and so the practicality of how they display stuff is always very interesting to me, even though I'm looking at it with like this. But also with Firecracker, I loved Firecracker in the sense that, because I know how she said that you would respect it more if it was like a deep personal conviction that she had, and I'm like, I'm the opposite. Like I
like that she has
I like that she understands the landscape, and it's like, there's a demand here, and I'm going to supply it. I like that. And then in her own twisted mind, she's like, doing a service too. And it honestly put me in the mind of I was on HBO Max watching the Alex Jones documentary, and you find out, and I'm, we're not gonna get too deep into politics, but just the documentary was talking about how Alex Jones really didn't care about what he was saying. He was just trying to put on a show. He was just trying to put on a good show, and everybody else was taking it so deep to heart. But he was like, if the check clears, I'm gonna say it. You know what I'm saying? So and Firecracker makes sense, because if you're the Starlight side of things, that's not the most lucrative way to go. If you're, sunshine and hope and inspiration, that might be the moral way to go, but that's not always the most lucrative way to go. But if you play on people's base emotions, then it's some money there. And so them portraying that, I thought was really cool. And they made me like Firecracker more than if she really believed all of this stuff.
Kay, how do you feel about the rivalry and the whole thing with Starlight and it going back to childhood? Like, I did want there to be a stronger tie-in as to why she had so much hatred towards, Starlight, and not her holding on to some childhood vendetta. But I can get into it. How did you feel about that, Kay?
I was like, if Starlight don't tighten up, you really of all people, Firecracker powers ain't even all that. First of all, they're really not. And then she be out here spewing a whole bunch of nothing. And as much as Starlight has been through the things she's been through, and then she comes in and just tears her all the way down. Like her bully shows up. And she forgets that she's a superhero. She forgets that she's very powerful. She forgets that she's fought a lot of monsters along the way. She's held her own. She had to go through the deep just to get to the 7. And then this lady has you backing down and all in your feelings and stuff of all the soups. This one, girl, Starlight, get it together. Please tighten up.
Okay, thank you, Kay, because I be thinking it's just me. I think it's just me, because that was one of the things that took me. I was like, I'm expecting a little bit more fight out of Starlight, not only, and I even have her slide like on the very tail end of everything, because Starlight was just, I can maybe try to get more into her. I'm January, I'm Annie January. I'm like, girl, you are Starlight. Like, let's get into that, reclaim it, and do what you have to do. Her trying to reframe, and we know why she is, but no longer want to be with the Starlight persona. And this Firecracker just coming along and spewing out, oh, remember when you said this when we were 12? And I was like, you're Starlight, girl. What are you doing? She's kind of regressing back into the timid, I'm just going in that we met her as. And I kind of expected a little bit more. Ashley, what about you?
Yeah, that childhood stuff that you never heal from can come back and bite you. And I think it was kind of eye-opening to see that that's the character that Starlight had. Since we've met her in this series, she has been rainbows and sunshine. So kind of hearing that she didn't told the people that the girl was gang essayed and like... And that's why the judges voted for her. Like, it was so unhinged. I don't know. Maybe she was just remembering that part of herself. I don't think Starlight will stay in this place, though. I think that was temporary. I think that was just the first interaction. I see them coming toe to toe, and Starlight standing in who she is today. But I just think that reminder of how awful she was in the past probably was like a gut punch to her. You know what I mean? Like,
What about you, Elliot? I know for one, I really love how real Firecracker is, even though her little powers don't amount to much. Her power is not, it's not, that's not her power. That's not why they signed her up to be a part of the 7. It's because the pull that she has with the demographic that is, and we see like the social commentary that comes along with Firecracker and those devoted people who are, going to find the kids in the basement and the whole certain stuff you ain't supposed to say on YouTube, the pizza of it all, the pizza toppings and all that stuff. I love that. It's very theorists, all of that. The truth seekers. It's very contemporary, and it feels very now. We know some Firecrackers, and it's like so real. So I love her character for that reason, and that's why they're bringing her into the 7. But Elliot, how do you feel about Firecracker and just how essential she'll be in her devotion to Homelander, trying to push up on him? Do you think that he'll utilize her in any way other than her going against Starlight?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Tyra, I'm going to say, like, I really like what she puts into the show, and to the points of the power. I just love how it's like a knockoff of Jubilee and X-Men, which is just so funny to me. But she is, I think Dom said it perfectly. She is kind of the mirror version of Starlight as far as this the darker side of what she used to be. And I like how Ashley said earlier, and this is a theme throughout this show, is like the past is you have to confront your past. Homelander has to go back home to confront his past. Hughie has to see his mom. And that is Frenchie has to go back to what he did to Colin's family there. So I love what they're doing. Each character has to have something that they have to go back to. In Starlight, one of her biggest regrets is how her mom raised her. So it might seem on a baseline on paper level, like, why would she let this person bother her and distract her? But it goes back to just when she was a child, or her mom used to put her in these pageants and force her to do things that she didn't like. So it's that thing that just always sticks to her. And that's what the firecracker does. Something, a small little firecracker that can, blow up in your face. So I like what they're doing with her and how they're going to go back and forth. And to be honest with you, even though her powers are weak, it's the mind games that she's going to play with Annie. And I think she's going to actually have Annie break. I think she's going to be that one. It wasn't the deep. It wasn't her mom. It wasn't what people were saying. I think Firecracker is going to be that person that's going to push her to the edge, which I'm excited to see. So I like Firecracker a lot.
We know what happens when she gets pushed. So I'm really looking at that because she's, the powers are real subdued so far. And you start like, girl, get out there and do what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But we have our first, our new members of the 7, and then we have, what are our old members doing? I love me some Will Ferrell. Like,
he sold it.
Stop swinging yayo and come back with me to the suburbs, because what A Train wants don't matter. Like, man, it doesn't matter. No, I said it don't matter. It's the hood. We get into the discontent with A Train. I have been waiting for seasons now. I am in no way familiar with any comics with the boys or anything, but from what I know, everybody says like the comments are really subpar in comparison to what they were able to do with the show. I have been waiting since season 1 for A Train's redemption. It's always kind of been present with his character to where it's just like everything that's going on around me with the 7 is unsettling, and it's not something I want to be a part of. And we see that kind of coming full circle now. Noir speaking is something I didn't know I needed. Noir to me, even though it's really different, I love the fact that it's the exact same actor in there. He's just getting a chance to speak, but he was really giving Deadpool for me. And what are my social cues? What am I supposed to be doing? Like, what is my motivation? Like, so we're just killed. Like, it's just very like we never heard you talk, and now we can't get you to shut up. That was different. And we have the deep. Like, the deep is just being the deep. The way he never gets any character growth. Like, the moment I think he's just off being the deep, there's not a whole lot there. Or I think he's probably going to be used by Sister Sage this season, and that'll be the deep is always I can't even feel sorry for the deep because he does too much. But we have A Train really wanting to get back into his roots and reconnect with his family and where he came from. Not only does he become an informant, but he also saves Hughie in this episode. Dom, I'm going to come to you first. How do you feel about just the remaining old school 7 and just A Train's redemption overall?
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the deep first, and because I got something to say about A Train. A Train is my deep. Like how y'all feel about the deep, this is how I feel about A Train. But the deep, I'm curious at this point to wonder why the deep is still here. Like, but in the reality, because when his caged aquarium wife says, "Let's just go to the ocean. I got family that we can go stay with." I'm like, why not? Like, what's keeping you here in this position? Is it like a abusive relationship situation where you just kind of scared to go, or what is the anchor? To use a nautical reference, like I don't understand why deep just doesn't just go. I didn't understand that. Black Noir is hilarious. The first time he spoke, I was like, "What are we doing?" They just really hired an actor to be out. The depths they go to put up this facade and do anything but be superheroes is hilarious to me. Because does he even have any superpowers, or he just walking around in Black Noir suit? That is hilarious. This raggedy Negro A-Train. And I see it in this season. I don't want him to have a redemption. There is no redemption for A-Train, and maybe this is. And I can accept the psychoanalytic aspect of it that I might be projecting a little bit because the upbringing of me and A-Train might be a little similar, so it's hitting a little close to home. But the stuff that he's done.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any redemption because to me, you have no character. You have no character. You have no backbone. You walking in the park with your nephews and you spouting the same lies that Vought told you to tell to the public. I have no compunction to feel sorry for you about anything. I don't have a lick of compassion for A-Train. Not one. I don't want him, and I don't care that he's turning an informant. I don't think anything. I'm really with Hughie. Like, because you ran through my girlfriend, there is no coming back. I want no parts of you.
Well, Dub, we have to have some of the main characters. Somebody has to die this season. I feel like they're going to go out of their way to try to redeem A-Train's character. It's just like, and as soon as he reaches I'm going to go and have dinner with my family. Finally, my brother's forgiven me. Yank, he's going to be out. That's what I think.
And that's fine because it's like Darth Vader. You can't have a redemption and then come home for dinner. You got to die now because you can't just be redemption and then we forget about the war crimes. Like, you got to go. And I'm a be mad if that does happen and then they put some memorial up for him or they speak about him with reverence. I'm gonna be spitting on the ground when they do it, but I'll take that because he got to go.
They're gonna immortalize him right next to Popclaw. Kay, how do you feel? Do you care for A-Train's redemption arc or just the change that we have with Noir? Because Kevin is over there with Ambrosius, need to go run off with his wife and just live his best life and take her out that closet. Lord.
He really does. She said, "Are you ashamed of me?" He should be, but I think he's more scared of Homelander because I don't think Homelander will let him leave at this point. I mean, the Deep knows that nobody likes him and he's useless, but I think he's scared. Like, Homelander was like, "Go over there in front of A-Train and get on your knees," and he was just like, "Okay." I mean, if you're gonna tell me to do, like.
And who was like about to let him? A-Train was gonna let him.
Exactly. They both y'all scared of Homelander, like, for real. But I think A-Train has burned way too many bridges. He's burned way too many bridges, and he knows that he's never going to be able to make up for the things that he's did. He can try. I mean, the best legacy you can live is go ahead and do this movie with Will Ferrell so somebody can like it. Because don't nobody else falling for your foolishness, not even your own family. That's it. You leave a legacy where people can think that you something because the people that know you for real know that you full of shit. Black Noir said he got narcolepsy. Y'all just let him take a nap and call him when y'all need him.
Ashley?
Well, I'm gonna probably be a little bit nicer. Okay, I'm gonna liken A-Train to Queen Maeve, right? So if we go back to Queen Maeve, I felt like they were both very similar in that they were kind of middle of the road, not taking a stance for good or really bad, but just not really doing anything. And we saw Queen Maeve do the most, right? She was integral in the whole Soldier Boy situation, so that everyone didn't, whatever. But so I'm thinking, if A-Train keeps in alignment, starts helping the boys, he could have a redemption arc. You know what I mean? Now, will he have to be ended? Possibly. I wouldn't be sad to see him go, but I think there's hope for him. I do. I want to believe it. Okay, y'all? I do.
Oh, Elliot?
Yeah, these are, to address the A-Train of it all, I think none of these characters are actually heroes and all these characters are bad. All of them have done bad things. There's really no good character, like a straightforward, maybe Starlight, but even, she might have some secrets that we might learn. So none of them are really, I don't think the show is really positioned anyone like you should be like redemption arc and having a full 180 on the character. But I think in his mind and his character growth, as far as like who A-Train is as a person, I think he's going to go out and do something heroic in his own mindset. It might not work for everyone in the audience, but he's going to think that he did the right thing or trying to do the right thing. Because, the first time we met him, and I love the idea of like he's always running away from his problems. The first time we met him, he killed Hughie's girlfriend and set it all off, which narratively speaking, episode 3 when he saves Hughie, I think that's a nice little parallel that he saved Hughie and the way he killed his girlfriend, running out of control. So I think there's going to be definitely a redemption arc, at least in the eyes of A-Train goes. The Deep is he's just a bro. He follows wherever it goes, wherever the popularity was. Season 2 when he went and joined the church. And so he just goes wherever it's the whole parody of Aquaman. No one takes Aquaman seriously, even though he probably is the most, besides Superman, the most powerful Justice League member, because he controls 80%. You know what I'm saying? The 80% of the world, the 70% of the world is water. Like, he can literally destroy the world. So, but he never taps into his, that maybe going back to Sister Sage, maybe she's the one that like, A-Train, do you know who? Do you know what you're capable of doing? Do this. But I've always looked at him as just like a yes man. He just does literally whatever you says. And then Black Noir, I love, like you said, Tyra, that it's the same actor who hasn't spoken since day one. Now gets the opportunity to have fun, play with having new Black Noir talk. And I'm intrigued to know if the mask comes off, if they're going to do like stunt casting, and even though it's his voice, it's another actor playing him. That was like a kind of Mandalorian situation. I would love to see what comes with that. And I think he does have superpowers, just because the way he, the one punch or one swing with the bat. I don't think a normal human can get that type of force and that blunt force. And so I think he is a suit that just has maybe some powers to a certain extent. So yeah, I'm liking the comedy of them always telling him to shut up. It's just so funny. It's supposed to be he's not supposed to talk, but now he's talking too much. Yeah. I like it.
Oh, y'all, Hughie's hurt. His dad has had a stroke, and Hughie, being all over there with the boys, have been ignoring his dad and them James Patterson books, and it might be too late. But getting there, Hughie's mom that has been gone since he was 6 years old just reappears. She comes back like nothing's happened. She's real calm about it, real unapologetic. I was over this as soon as we saw her. And it's just like she waited a little too long, in my opinion, to apologize or even mention why she was gone. But this is what Hughie is dealing with the majority of this episode. Katie, did you care about this at all? Because his mom was going to say, well, she did reflect on depression and postpartum and issues like that. But I just like, girl, it's 6. You left when I was 6. That's it.
I mean, Huey, everybody got a little something going on. Okay, Frenchie over there snorting crack, and everybody's fast. Oh, girl got a friend or adversary that came out the woodwork, and she don't even want to tell nobody about it. She in there, Kamiko is in therapy, and don't even want and left out. Everybody going through something, Huey. Okay, so you're not the only one that got problems within your family. We all got a little something going on. Mom, thank you for finally admitting what was going on with you, but Huey is grown now. What is he supposed to do with that information? What is he supposed to do with this? I'm like, why do we need to know this at this point? What is this going to do for him right now?
I thought she was going to say something grander, like somewhere. She's like, oh, you work for V? I'm like, no, she's just a V salesman. I thought she was going to say, well, I tried to, be in your life or come back. Your dad kept me away, or just something more grand. It just felt like more of a choice after a while.
We got other serious problems going on. She could have kept that.
Ashley, did you care about this at all?
Yeah, no, not really. But I'm wondering, they didn't bring her for no reason, right? And so I'm just interested in seeing how this develops. Is she really there for the purposes we think she's there for? Being that she's an employee of the company, right? Could there be some deeper thing? Because clearly she didn't have no affection towards Hughie. Like, what mother comes back and isn't repentant after all these years? So I think she's there for a purpose, and I'm interested to see what happens. I will say, again, we didn't need anybody thrown off their game, and Hughie was definitely talking to himself, mumbling, like rehearsing what he was going to say to her, which was a huge distraction. But I think, yeah, we'll see what she does. But I'm keeping my eye on her. I'm interested to see what her part is going to be.
Before they had this sit down and she said she worked for V, I was like, okay, Vicky sent her. She's trying to find another way to get those files. That's what I thought it was initially, and that she would slow down. But I don't know. Elliot, how did you feel about the mom, and do you think she has another motive?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I'm not a Hughie fan at all. I thought his arc ended 2 seasons ago. He had his own, little stuff going on. So I've never been. I know he's our eye line. He's the audience of throwing us into the chaos.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to the central theme, addressing your past, and I think that there is something more to the mom. I'll go back into my, is she really there situation? If we, again, he's the only one that's talking to her. We haven't seen any nurses addressing the mom. So me going back to my butcher thing of him maybe making up Joe, and it might be repetitive. So if it's not Joe hallucinating, it might be Hughie imagining that this is the moment he can make up with his mom and have a redemption arc and whatnot, and find out she's not even there. Or it could be, like you guys are saying, it could be someone that's a plant. She could be plant, because it is kind of speaking of random. It is random that his dad has magically got a stroke out of nowhere, which I don't know if the mom has something to do with that potentially. So I think I'm hoping that there's a greater purpose to the mom being involved in the storyline. And if it is one of those situations where the mom, the son come together, they might kill her, just to kind of, or the dad might bite the bullet. So I'm hoping that there is more to it than just like mommy left and now, I got her back in my life. So, but like I said, I'm not the biggest Hughie fan. So
Me neither, Elliot. See, I was trying to be light because I already went in on Ryan. I was trying to save a little bit. Me neither. It's a lot of plot armor around Hughie's character, especially with the we can't kill him. He's gonna maybe release the footage of me. Like, it's incriminating. Like, it just needs to be something else for me to really, because I used to love Hughie's character, but now it's just like, you still here and you still alive.
He's there. That's what I'm saying. They don't know what to really do with him.
It's just there. Dom, did you care for any of this?
So no, but I was in the same mind of Elliot at first when she showed up, because both Hughie and Butcher took the Temp V. So I was like, well, maybe they're sharing some side effects. But then when he went to the lawyer to try and get out of her having power of attorney, that kind of that was kind of the same effect as somebody else talking to her, because somebody else is at least acknowledging her existence in a relevant way. So I was like,
cut you off, Dom. She can be in existence, but she might not actually be there with Hughie. So she can still be like an actual person, but he's imagining her being there for him in a situation. So
that's true. They would have to explain then, because I'm a stickler for stuff making sense. And so if he's hallucinating her, because the thing about hallucinations in movies is the hallucination, unless you're gonna bring some psychicness into it, the hallucination can't tell the character something they don't already know. And so is somehow he has to understand that he doesn't, like, he show me a scene of the nurse telling him that he doesn't have power of attorney, and it got to come from some outside thing for that to make sense to me. But I mean, the show is so good, I'll give it that little lapse in judgment. But I don't like her, and the explanation wasn't satisfactory. He grown, like, he's not 18. This is a grown man. Why, like, you can't? I don't care, and I'm gonna talk to you any kind of way because I don't know you, lady. But I take a little bit of I like the distraction away from them always having to have relationship issues, like with him and Starlight. Because I don't like that in shows where I'm like, okay, these two characters finally got into a relationship and now they have to have relationship problems, and that needs to be the conflict of the season. So as long as it's not him and Starlight having issues again, because that was tiring for me. And so if we got to give him mommy issues to get away from that, I'll deal with it, because she's definitely in the show for some other reason. And so I just have to suffer through these scenes until that's revealed. Because it was not only, it was boring, actually. This was the only part of the show where I wanted to fast forward, because I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, personally, Dom, all of this was boring for me. The whole Starlight and Hughie, those are the Starlight, Hughie, and Ryan. Those were the things that I didn't really care for in these 3 episodes, and I'm hoping they eventually get better. But I did like the themes of everything in the show is always political. So the agitators and killing Tom. I love that we went and found Tom and killed him immediately. That was great. That whole thing and the masterminding of Sage and the framing of the 2 black men. I'm gonna come to y'all for that. And finding out that Annie's a mean girl, but her trying to run away from the Starlight persona or not be so hands-on or involved, or the face of, everybody's out here for you. Your face is literally, it's Starlight. It's not the January situation. So reclaim it and really do what we need you to do. I'm hoping that we have a great arc with her just being massive and great and all those other good things, but I can't take too much more of this persona, or just I just felt like I thought she had grown so much beyond this. Maybe I'm putting something on her that isn't there, but I just felt like she went through so much and that she would be stronger here. But with the mean girl narrative and her still harboring on what someone's saying about her in the lights of a firecracker, I was like, are we going to see her like diminish down into nothing and just blow up and just get? I think that's where we're going with this, and that's not what I expected. But Kay, how do you feel about just the back and forth with the Homelanders versus the Starlights and all those other good things, or them trying to frame these two brothers up here for those 3 murders?
It's really funny how this season came out during election year. It's really, really interesting to see. And it's, again, a very nice way to display the foolishness going on in real life on TV for you to see how dumb it really is and how people really are and what it looks like behind the scenes. Like, really, the Starlighters? We're really going there, and we're really cheering this term on at this point in time. It's ridiculous. And I think that they know, like the boys know this is ridiculous, but at this point you got to do something because Homelander is always 2 steps ahead of y'all. They need to get in front of this. Like, how after all this time they're still smarter than everybody. Y'all need to get it together because they're literally beating them at this game and they're having to play catch up just to stay afloat.
Ashley, how did you feel about these Democrats and these Republicans?
No, I think you're absolutely right about what Starlight will have to do to really gain momentum and shift the tide. And it'll be all about reclaiming the symbol of her oppression, right? You're going to have to be Starlight. You're going to have to be it because that's who the people support. That's who the people that you have behind you that you can actually kind of equip to and ready them to go out and do your bidding. Unfortunately, we saw Sister Sage do some of her best work in this, not that I'm for framing 2 innocent Black men for anything, but Sister Sage kind of showed us in this episode her prowess, right? Like, okay, this is what I can do. We're going to construct this. We're going to do, because when I saw Mr. Beefcake, that's what I'm coining Mother's Milk's ex-wife's ex-husband now, I guess, right? I'm calling it Mr. Beefcake because clearly that's what kept her coming back for more. The ladies love the beefcake, okay? And so when he went in there, I really didn't know what to expect, right? With the super fans. I'm like, oh, look at, she's got Homelander meeting his fans. They're going to get up on the dais and he's going to introduce them to the crowd. I had no clue. But when he said, that you would be willing to give your lives and be martyrs for the cause. And they're like, huh? Like, say what? It was strategic. It's what a lot of conspiracy theorists believe happens in real life. Again, a perfect example of satire. I mean, and art, I guess, mirroring real life. I mean, we've seen it time and time before. Innocent men being framed, convicted, sent to the electric chair for crimes they didn't commit. Now, how they placed it and it being a Black woman that masterminded this whole thing, that's kind of the part that makes me feel a little bit icky. But, it is what it is. We're learning, we're growing. There's going to be a reveal at some point, right, of why she's doing the things that she's doing. But, we'll see.
It better be. Dom.
When this was crazy. When I was in college and a crime would happen, they would send out emails like alerts of the crime, and it got to a point because I went to a PWI, so it got to a point where all the other guys that look like me, we would start to joke that, like, look, when these come out, we just gonna stay inside because we always fit the description. We always fit the description, and it's always us, so we just gonna stay inside tonight. That's how I felt here. It was like it is easy to just put these people on screen and people are gonna eat it up, and it's going to kind of be easily digested because that's kind of what the public already is conditioned to expect. So, and that just goes right down. To me, it didn't even stand out as like a notable part of the scene to me because it was just such a natural way to go. Like, of course, they, that's what they do because why else? Who else are you gonna put it on? but with Starlight, I think that this is legitimately where the show's going to go, because the boys up until now have been trying to fight in the shadows. They've been trying to match. Like last season, it was all about like leveling the playing field from a physical standpoint, like with Teddy and everything, and that didn't work. So now I think they're going to understand that they need to level the playing field politically, and that's where Vought, that's where the Seven are weak at. If you can upend their political power, and at the end of this last episode, when Starlight, stepped back into the light, because it made sense that she would regress a little bit, because from the time that her mom was over her, putting her in pageants, all the way up until when she left the Seven, she was being forced into the spotlight. And she didn't really want the attention. She was in it for altruistic reasons. She wanted to be a hero. And so she finally got to the mountaintop, and it was nothing. It was everything but that. And so so she went away and went to the opposite extreme. And I think now she's going to be like, okay, I can be a hero, just not in the way I thought I was going to be when I was a kid. And so I think that she's going to step into this role as the head of this movement. And now they're going to start gaining political power and changing public opinion. And I think that Starlight might hopefully get to a position where she's elevated enough, where she's on the same level as the opposition, like where with like the Stan Edgars and all of that, where she actually is a force, where she can get on TV and like make something shake because she has so much back in her. That's where I'm hoping it goes. Because to me, that would give Annie's character some depth to it, if she was like, all right, I can't be the Starlight that I thought people were going to have posters of on the wall, but I can be still a hero that is effective.
That's all I want, Dom. That's all I want. Elliot?
Yeah, no, I think you all have said it perfectly. And to go back to what Dom was saying, I think these characters have to realize we kind of touched on it last year where we alluded to the taking the V, even the playing field on the physical level, but I think they got to play dirty. Like there's no clean way about getting the job done. And that's why, again, Butcher is so integral to the boys. Like we can't play fair with these, Vought and Homelander. So I think this season, we're going to see Annie leaning more into the darker side and playing into it and knowing that she has to go to those levels in order to accomplish the goal of, exposing the villains and Homelander. So, and then to bring it back to the point of the two black guys, to Don's point, that's how I looked at it as. Like, I think Sage is smart enough to say, of course, they don't think it's black, two black guys that did it. And I'm giving the show the benefit of the doubt that was the process of like, it's an easier sale versus, two white men being, accused of these murders or what have you, of these other three white men. So I think that's what the angle was, and that's how I kind of took it. And like I said, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that angle. But
they better not do it again, Elliot.
Yeah.
We have Kamiko and Frenchie. Now, I'm actually here for Kamiko's arc. I love when she kept trying to get into Frenchie. Like, we ain't gonna ever happen, right? Like this, like Kamiko, this is not about you. She wanted this to be about her so bad, and I loved her going off and all the hand signs. Like, anytime she argues and she's mad, and I love it. But I love the therapy and just her. Everybody's dealing with their past and her going back. Hopefully, we find out who this young lady is down here. But you have her in captivity as a child and really trying to deal with what she's been running away from this entire time. But Frenchie, I love Kamiko and Frenchie together. I love when they're a thing. This situation with Colin, the love interest, it was so quick. It was so quick for me and just instant. I was like, we just met him. I wish they would have gotten us a little bit invested in their union or just their relationship, or just have them have been maybe dating for some time. And then he maybe found out later, like, oh, he's related to a family that I knocked off once upon a time. But it's just, we're kind of just thrown into their relationship and him trying to ignore him. And this is clearly going to be a really big part of Frenchie's arc this season. I don't know if I'm here for that. I need to, Colin in their situation needs to grow on me, because I just feel like we were thrown in it, especially with me being so used to him and Kamiko just being the dynamic duo. And watching Frenchie kind of slip back into old habits because he's trying to run away from who he was in the past. But Ashley, were you here for Kamiko's therapy and Frenchie's new man?
I was here for Kamiko's growth. Yes, I loved seeing her go. I don't know if I necessarily liked her response in therapy. I was like, come on, Kamiko, sis. Come on, sis. We got to do better. And I, like you, Frenchie and Colin, I was like, what? Because, I mean, upon meeting him, he outs him, right, for being an addict. And I'm like, okay, that's awkward. Go in the bathroom and we share this graze of the hand. And I'm like, what is going on? I said, I know he's not cheating on my Kamiko. Now, Frenchie, I know you go any way the wind blows, but don't cheat on my good sis, right? And then we hear her say, baby is never going down. So I'm thinking, okay, what's the big deal? And then we find out that, you know, Frenchie has unalived this man's entire family, right? And he's haunted by it. But my thing is, why would you then run into the arms of this person? Is it in some way you trying to find redemption for the acts, you know what I mean, that you've done? I mean, we know this is going to end badly. I do feel like it was kind of a throw in the last minute. Like, I really didn't need this from Frenchie. I need Frenchie to work on getting his little methods at taking people out corrected, right? I need him to be working on like a super serum or something to fix Butcher. Like, that's where I need.
Brilliant. Like, where's that?
Yeah, I didn't really need this. You know what I mean? I didn't.
Dom, since when is Kamiko and Frenchie not a thing? Since when was it never happening? Because I was unaware. Dom?
Yeah, I was unaware. I thought that, and then maybe this is just how I was watching the show. I thought they were a thing, and they weren't being intimate because Kamiko had been through so much trauma that they just weren't being intimate. You know what I'm saying? And so that was my understanding of their relationship. So this was I felt like my favorite celebrity couple broke up. I was like, what? It's not happening. What's going on? But Frenchie's, like, Kamiko going to therapy, I think is great. I love seeing her in therapy. I'm here for the growth over the episodes. I don't know narratively or just as far as my enjoyment of the show. I don't know if I want to see her talk because that's part of what she's in therapy for, is the psychological mute thing.
Selective mutism.
Yeah, selective mutism. I don't know that. I mean, you know, from a character perspective, of course, I want her to heal from that. I don't know that I want her to talk because there's 4 seasons of her being silent, and that's the context in which I've come to understand the character. So I just don't know if she starts talking, if it's going to be a situation where it's going to feel weird to me. But with Frenchie, I think this is kind of the downside or the struggle with having a show with so many characters that all need their own storyline that we're all supposed to be invested in, because we have to have a season's worth of things to keep Frenchie busy doing. And so I just think it was like, yeah, of course it had to be fast because we got to give him something to do. He can't be tinkering with a serum every time we shoot to him. You know, every episode he's just, it didn't work this time. Suckle blue, like it can't. So he needs some sort of arc, and I think it was rushed. I mean, I think that's why it feels rushed, because I don't know if anybody's watched the Falcon and Winter Soldier show that was on Disney Plus, and where they did a similar thing with the Winter Soldier, where he was, we would see him continually go sit down with this old man, and it was in the beginning, it seemed like a very cool and heartwarming relationship because, you know, Bucky's from the 40s. So, of course, he would, you know, naturally gravitate to this older man because they are similar interests and background. So that made sense. And then towards the end, you find out, no, this is more of a redemptive thing for him, or a penance thing for him, because when he was the Winter Soldier, he killed this man's grandson, or this man's son. And so that, to me, that arc and the way they did that was better because it was a season-long thing. And so we built up the emotion and then got the bomb dropped on us, and it was delivered a little bit better. This was kind of quick. And I mean, maybe they are going to extend it and it's going to be something else later on. But I just think it's you got a team, you got 12 people on the show that all need their own arc. We got to give Frenchie something to do.
I mean, yeah, and as far as giving Frenchie something to do, I would have been here for him, you know, going on this escapade with Kamiko in these ventures, because clearly with the young lady, this is something that's going to be ongoing. Kamiko still hasn't said, you know, oh, this is that person, but clearly she has history. She's trying to redeem situations with her brother, give give the children freedom fighters, give them some notoriety and a stage, and just really go back to what she's been running away from. I could have been here for Frenchie. You know, they've always been like this on everything else. So why, separate them now and give him a love interest? Elliot, were you here for Colin?
Yeah, I 100% am with Dom. I've always felt like a show like this with an ensemble cast, and this is why I'm so glad that the next season's the last. I feel like Kamiko and also Frenchie are just two characters on the board that they're the oh yeah, what do we do with them this season type of characters. They're never in the main narrative, and their stories are literally, as harsh as mentioned, they're filler. This is a filler to make up that hour slot that the show has. So I enjoy the characters. But whenever we shift to them again, the Frenchie situation is very much just so random and just kind of left field as far as Colin and his relationship and killing the family. It's just, again, I don't know what growth we've had with Frenchie since we first met the character. I would be even okay with him being elsewhere in another country and pops up every other couple episodes versus every episode we have to cut to Frenchie, cut to Kamiko. So to me, again, I like these actors, I like the characters, but they are 100% the definition of like filler.
Ooh, okay.
I didn't care. I don't. I'm like, Frenchie, after all we've been through, we're gonna go back to using drugs. After all we've been through. And Kamiko, after all the progress you made, we're walking out of therapy now. It's like these characters, after all they've been through, they're regressing. We don't need them regressing at this part of the story. Okay, we got a major election going on right here. We need everybody on top of their game. I don't care about your failing relationship and your drugs and your demons coming back from the past. I need everybody's head in the game. And quite frankly, it's slowing them down. It's slowing them down. But I do care about Kamiko and Frenchie and their friendship. That's what I wish they would have stuck to. Like they started really, really getting super close in season 3 to where like she's like, I need my powers back just so I can save you. Like that's like we here, we're connected. And then now all of a sudden when we're like, wrapping our arms around this friendship here, this is what we want to see. Now the friendship is falling apart because they got other stuff going on. We don't care about the other stuff going on. We need them to be friends. Give us the part that we want to see is their friendship. That's what I want to see. Put them together. I don't care about the other stuff going on unless they're gonna be best friends again. Come on, Carol and Daryl.
That's what they're doing once again with them, not Carol and Daryl, child. That's what they're doing with them not, having anything to do. Like, let's just make them regress and tear them apart to build them back up again. Like that's what they're gonna be doing. I just feel like they maybe would have a stronger purpose. Like you don't really have to even create anything for them to do. Like everybody here serves a purpose. Have them do that thing and do that thing well in the group, and let's move on. Like it doesn't have to be because the Colin situation just took me out. I was like, I thought Kamiko and Frenchie were always a thing. What is this? Like that was kind of left field for me.
Did any of us, I guess not to go back to, did any of us theorize who that girl is? I mean, we know it's from her past, but like, is it a sister, a cousin?
I definitely a family member to me. I was like, we've already met her brother. Wasn't that guy her brother before? I was like, another sibling with some, but then she only used a knife, so maybe she doesn't have powers. I don't know. She seems strong though, but I think she did a weapon when they fought.
If it was a relative, I don't think Kamiko would have allowed her to run away. I think it would have been just as intense as when she first saw her brother. I think it's just maybe somebody she's familiar with from wherever she's having these flashbacks at.
Okay.
But just throwing that out there because I'm hoping that this is where we finally have Homelander really do one of those visions where it's like, oh, I really would love to do this to these toys, these underlings, these humans. I would love to fry and laser beam everybody in this crowd. And then it's just like, oh, like I was just thinking about it. I think we're inching up to that because he is really like, he's always been a loose cannon, but the situation with the rollerblades and him trying to get Hughie and I love the scene because I'm an old school Spider-Man fan, so I love the situation with the bead of sweat dropping down on the shoulder. That was great. That was a really nice callback, my extra self. But yeah, I think we're gonna get more into him just not really caring, and because he don't care about images or they all always had to be conscious about who might see or who might capture the wrong thing, or just like, no, I don't care, I'm finna laser and do all of this. And even with the I I don't know, the almond joy chick from analytics. And it's just like, yeah, if anybody's a loose end, I am going to instantly take them out. And which, we have Ashley. Actually, she should have been got out of there. She shredded that resume. Like, Ashley should have got out of there a long time ago. But does anybody feel like we're going to get just Homelander, all that passion that he's regressing, that hatred for him just feeling like he's the superior being and he wants to start over and the earth should just be a fresh marble of whatever. Are we finally going to get one of those visions coming true of him just going rampant in hell on innocent bystanders? Because that's what I want to see. Are we going to get it?
He already is. They just covering it up. I actually really love this scene. This scene was amazing. It's probably my favorite out of the episodes. But he's already been doing that. It's the next time when he keeps doing it, at what point are they going to stop covering it up is the question. Yeah. When are they going to stop covering for him?
I think it's going to get done, and that'll be Starlight's fuel to be like, okay, finally we have something. Do you all see this is who your Homelander is? I'm hoping that is, but I don't want any more imaginary cutaways of, this is what I would love to do to you guys, but I can't because I have to practice restraint. I really want Homelander's crazy self to go off. Elliot?
Yeah. I think the episode 3 is a huge indicator of what this finale might lead into, which is him just removing all of care of humanity. And there's a panel in the comics of what it could lead to, which is a bunch of soups going to the White House and just completely forgetting about, because they are in the world. This is, an X-Men scenario. He's Magneto essentially. So they're gonna just, I think this is the way we end the season. Is Homelander is gonna officially just go off the rails and just literally not give an F about anything of what people care, and there's people that's gonna follow him, and I think that's where we're heading.
That's what I want. And the only savior that could happen and maybe do something would be the likes of Ryan. That's what I want to see. Right. Dom, you ready for this loose cannon to happen? Are we going to get it finally?
Yeah, I think publicly, I think at this point it's an inevitability. I think it has to almost, because I enjoyed this ice skating scene, but at the same time, narratively in the show is getting harder and harder to explain Homelander. Like, Homelander is a great character, but him keeping all of this inside at this point is stretching sense of the show. And like we was talking about with Hughie, how Hughie shouldn't have made it. Hughie, up until this point, we've had other reasons why, okay, I can't kill him because I want to kill him, but I can't. I want to kill him, but I can't. Because we knew that if Homelander wanted to kill you, that's it. Mm-hmm. So to me, the ice skating scene was like, nah, because if Homelander wanted you dead, Hughie not making it. I love the sweat scene too, because it immediately put me in the mind of Spider-Man. But at the same time, you got the sweat, right? But this huge air duct that he crawling around, you can't figure out where he went. Right. To me, it's stretching the plausible deniability of the show. When you keep having to jump through hoops to keep these people alive. So you either gonna have to let him kill Hughie, you know what I'm saying, or just not put him in these situations anymore. But I do think we're building, because this is just this was just episode 3, and Vault on Ice is over with. And so I think that now, we're building to and I'm not confident that it's going to be the season finale. I think that's what we would expect. But I think something as public like the courtroom scene, I think something like that might happen towards the middle of the season, and it'll shock us. But it's coming.
I hope so. Ashley?
Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that the stage is being perfectly set, right? For him to operate carte blanche as he wants. He's just been acquitted, right? He's got the people on his side. He's got the soups in fear, right? I think it's going to be time for a display. If their plan goes according to plan and Newman becomes president and, gets rid of all of the soup, intelligence services and all of that, we're going to see a spectacle. And I'm inclined to believe that it'll be maybe mid to late in the season, but I'm with Dom. I don't think they'll necessarily wait for the finale because I think we'll have to deal with the aftermath of it. I think they'll want us to see that. But yeah, absolutely. And they set the stage really in season 3, because when he took out that man who threw the can at Ryan or hit Ryan with the can and everyone started. Yeah. I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. He's just going to start doing his thing indiscriminately and on a large scale. So, yeah,
I
definitely.
hope so, because there's absolutely nobody for him to answer to now. It's just he can pretty much do whatever the hell he wants to, and I can't wait until it happens. Hopefully sooner.
The reason I think it's going to be the finale because I know that Gen V's coming out next year, and I don't think that they want to I think they want to do what that Gen V did, which was hand off the boys and the boys hand off to Gen V. So I do think there is going to be something that's going to make us like hold off on that particular storyline because we got that virus out there again from Gen V. I think that virus will get loose and then pivot into what's going to be the results into Gen V, and then whatever happens at the end of Gen V season 2 will be the finale of the boys.
And see, if this is just my this is my guesstimation, but if I think we know that the Gen V virus is going to come into play, but I think that's what's going to set him off. I think that they're going to use the virus as an assassination attempt on Homelander. It's not going to work, and now it's over with. Now because we've just been talking about how his mortality is on the forefront of his mind. And if you get close to taking it from him and he come back, it's over with. It's Homelander Unchained at this point. and so you might be right. It might be. I'd be curious if it is the finale. If that happens and it is the finale, I would be curious how Gen V, in the context of like the college and the kids, would operate under a world where Homelander is on the loose for real. That would make me more excited to watch Gen V.
Yeah, I want to be more invested in Gen V overall. I love Gen V, but naturally, this is one of the shows. Like, I love this show, but I feel like this should have ended like at season 3. Like, this is not a show that can, when you get more into that plausible deniability, there's only so far that we can stretch this narrative. So if we can, lend it over to Gen V, because I thought Gen V was really, really amazing. So I'm expecting that. And then just with Homelander, he's talking to himself in that mirror again. He hasn't done this in a while. Really reflecting on those inner thoughts and demons that he tries to stray from. So something is about to take over with his character, and I can't wait to see that. And we're going to get, I guess, some more history with Homelander, because we end off this episode with him saying it's time for him to go home and really deal with some things. Now, we went home before, but it was more for optics in that one episode that one time. But this is him really venturing into things that he hasn't dealt with. And I love that everybody's dealing with their past, and I like Homelander dealing with his past more so than us trying to get to Kamiko and Frenchie, and this really serves purpose. So I'm interested in that. Ashley, what are you looking forward to with episode 4 of the show?
Yikes. I don't even know what to look forward to, because what's going to happen, right? I want to know what home is going to look like, right? Because he was raised in a lab. I'm interested to see, the doctor is still living, right? The one who apologized for making him said, I did the worst. Is he still living? I think so. Anyway.
They killed him.
I think his head was the first.
I was just gonna say, I think he got head popped.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was more than one doctor. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Well, I'll be interested to see what he's even going to do there, right? Because the voices are telling him to go home. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the baby. He went off on Ryan at the end of this episode, and so I'm interested to see, is that going to push him back into Billy's arms? Is he going to keep taking his little flights to go see him? I don't really care about Kamiko and Frenchie, what they got going on. Maybe Starlight will step into her greatness in this next episode. I'm just excited to see the story move forward. Like I said, I think we can still expect great things, and I'm hopeful. But I think I need a little bit more depth in the story this next episode, and maybe we get a greater reveal as far as Billy Butcher and moving towards, maybe he gets some hope and is like, there is a cure for me. You know what I mean? I need us to move somewhere. And as far as Sister Sage, I want to know what was up with the lobotomy tool, if that's what she does to relax her. I want conclusion to that. I want I want to understand her methods for relaxation, if that's really what happened.
Had to be some sleep with the deep. Okay.
Exactly. For every superhero, they have a weakness. And so I would like to lean into what her weakness is, because there ain't no way in hell whatever plan I had would not lead to him. So I would definitely like to see what her weakness is. I need them to like, let's wrap up Hughie and his tears. Let's wrap up Frenchie and his tears. Let's move it forward. You know you need the butcher. You got it. Let's worry about more about your child, less about the boys, because you ain't got it all together. Let's be a parent here, because your daughter is going off the rails at this point. Okay, do you want her to be on the far right? I mean, where are we going? Okay, he gonna see his daughter at a rally taking up the spot that old boy was at. So I need them to look to really, parent. Let Butcher gonna do what he do, and really keep an eye out for Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because he's not here for just nothing. He's probably got a whole thing going on that's gonna unravel this season, and I really want to see some of that, and some probably into some backstory with Butcher. I actually would be interested in the backstory of Butcher. I actually want to see that.
I feel like we already got a lot of backstory with Butcher, though. Have we not?
Yeah,
From his childhood, but not for like his career as in like an adult, and what he was into before the boys. Like what got him to that, to be like this. We already know he's hard, but we know he was into some stuff. Like he's very organized and meticulous. How did he get that way? Where did he learn from? Who are his mentors?
Okay, Dom.
I do want to see some more Butcher, like how the monster was made. I think that they released these 3 episodes all at once for a reason. I'm hoping that because the slowest parts of the season were in these 3, that's why they gave them to us all at once.
Oh, I hope so.
So we can get that out the way, and now week to week we can kind of ramp it up, and so each episode will sustain us for the next week. That's what I'm hoping was the strategy behind that, because I think the next episode I think is, because I'm curious to see who all these characters are going to be once the past is dealt with. All these characters, when they come through this chrysalis, this cocoon, and they're fully realized, what is going to be the dynamic. And so I just think that it's going to be, I think each episode is going to be like, we're going to focus on one character, and it's going to be like, what are we doing in present day, and then the flashbacks of that one character. And so, and then just throughout the episode, we're going to find out about each person's past and history. I don't think we'll get a whole bunch of Butcher as the up and coming murderer that he was, because I think that's going to be Frenchie. I think with Frenchie, we're going to see a lot of him and the person he used to be, because he's the one who's remorseful about all the people he's killed. But Butcher don't care. Butcher does not care. But I think that's going to be Frenchie's arc. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to see him be sad for 8 to 9 episodes. I think that's what's going to happen.
Elliot?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think the last shot of the episode, we'll find a little bit more about Sister Sage and what she does in her off time, and maybe more of her actual plan. I think there's going to be, because I don't want to say throwaway line, but someone had mentioned earlier in the stream about Hughie's mom. I'm just trying to think of something to give her. We know that she potentially may have connections with Vi. I wouldn't be surprised if she has, and this might even tie to Kamiko. She might be the chemist to provide those kids with the in the underground trafficking and whatnot. There's something more with Hughie's mom, and it might even involve, giving Hughie's dad Compound V or something like that. And I think that we're definitely going to probably veer more towards Firecracker, pushing Annie's buttons and leading her to get more to the darker side. And who else do we have out there? I mean, Homelander, again, the Red Door, the picture you had up there, Tyra, earlier, I think that was a younger Madeline. So we might get her flashback or a younger version of her and exploring that relationship and whatever the Red Room is. So yeah, I anticipate, because it is technically it's the mid-season finale with it being 8 episodes. So there's something big that's going to probably happen in episode 4. Because like Dom said, whenever a show gives you 3 episodes, 2 episodes, it's like a mini arc of like a movie. So that was the first act of the film, and now we're entering the second half of the film, and it's going to propel us into the real heart of this story. So I think episode 4 is going to be the one that we're probably going to remember being the set off point to really what the heart of this season is, to really open the door of what we can expect this season. So I think we're going to get probably some big things next week.
Yeah, I hope so. Oh, y'all, that was a lot.
I got one last prediction.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that because we know Butcher's gonna be saved. This sickness isn't taking him out. I don't believe that for a second. I believe Butcher's not gonna make it out the show, but I don't think the sickness is what's gonna do him. And I'm thinking that the virus that is supposed to kill Soups might purge the whatever destructive temp V that's in his system. So I think because we got a virus that's destructive, it'll end up just being like the cure-all. It'll cure our heroes and kill our villains.
Oh Lord, I love how y'all be writing the show. It's amazing. It's amazing because I think we all do that a whole lot after we watch something for so long.
Wrong.
Like, great thing. And that's the good part, though. I love being wrong or being right, or I hate being able to predict what's coming. So if you're wrong, still good, but hey, right, cut them that check. But y'all, this has been great. We got through all 3 episodes. Let us know how you feel about it at the bottom. I am gonna thank you guys for being here real quick, and then we're gonna come back and say good night. We'll be right back, y'all.
He want the scoop, she want the tea, she want the tea. I cannot speak, we keeping it street, we keeping it street. I took a loss, but you still gon' get beat, you still gon' get beat. How much it costs? It never been cheap, it never been. Turn your click up, dog, turn them up, turn your up, dog, turn around. Tiny streets can't cross it, cross them up, all these streets need bosses. Boss them up, turn your click up, dog, turn them up, turn your up, dog, turn around. Tiny streets can't cross it, cross them up, all these streets need bosses. When my dog get low in his pockets, I'm picking them up. We came from the bottom together, we get it, we splitting it up. If my tell me pay for the I'll take a tapping and tell her shut up. Standing on business, standing on business, ain't nothing to pipe it up. It ain't nothing to turn up. It ain't nothing to turn your click up. Ain't nothing. We turn the jeweler up, just look at the diamonds we bust. Look at the people we touch. I'm feeling like Puffy and Russ.
All right. Thank you. Of course, I'm going to do ladies first. Kay, I'm going to come to you first so you can tell the people what you have coming up and where they need to be to come and find you. Go ahead, Kay.
Y'all hit that subscribe button, the 5th wall. We got horror, all the horror stuff. We are talking Interview with the Vampire, Mayfair Witches, Godzilla -1. We got reviews for Abigail. We got reviews for Late Night with the Devil. Evil is up there. There's some other movies that I'm going to review that we're going to put up there. And of course, every Tuesday we get together and talk about more Interview with the Vampire. Also comic book stuff, X-Men 97. We're going to do some stuff with the boys. So calling all nerds, blurs, I need y'all to hit that subscribe button for all your horror things, all your nerd things. Come on over.
Let's see. Do Ashley. Ashley, you go ahead.
Hey, y'all. You guys already know what it is. There's something for everybody over there. Be on the lookout for Bridgerton. That is next. We're doing The Shy. We're doing Ghost season 4. And then, of course, I do my recaps for Interview with a Vampire just before our Tuesday night. So, yeah, just subscribe, hit the notification bell. There's something for everyone there. And thank you, Tyra, for having me tonight.
Of course, you already know I can't wait for us to get into Interview with a Vampire because that's what I'm waiting on. I love you boys, but I'm waiting on the Interview with a Vampire episode 6. We excited. You go ahead, Elliot.
Well, first and foremost, Tyra, I have been fortunate enough to have you on my channel quite a few times, but this is my first time on your channel. It's a dream come true. So thank you so much for having me on. As far as on my channel, talking about the boys, obviously, every week. Also for my crime thriller Apple TV Plus fans, we got Presumed Innocent on Apple TV Plus that I'll be talking about weekly that I'm really enjoying so far. Movies galore that I always try to cover, whether it's horror, comedy, action heroes, superheroes, or what have you. And of course, for my Game of Thrones fans, we got the House of the Dragon coming up, season 2 on Sunday, and ending the month out with the season 3 premiere of The Bear. So if you like all the stuff I just mentioned, check me out on YouTube here at Movie Files, talking about those things. And again, Tyra, I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. That's the 18th person I done heard mention The Bear. I'm gonna watch The Bear. I'm convinced. I'm gonna check out The Bear because y'all be giving it a whole lot of hype. Dom, I am gonna come to you next to tell the people where they can find you and what you have going on your channel. Go ahead, Dom.
Oh man, this was so much fun. I appreciate y'all having me here. This is actually the first time. This is my first stream. This is the first time of me going live ever. So appreciate that. My channel is Screen Static, so you can look at Screen Static Studios on YouTube and all the socials. And I'm doing I'll be back for the boys, and we'll be doing with the Star Wars show. The Acolyte. I do that weekly, and I'm I've heard people talk about the Bear too, so I'm gonna have to check out the Bear. But yeah, I'm gonna do the Acolyte, and when House of the Dragon comes on, I'll be doing House of the Dragon weekly too.
All righty. Thank you. Let me put you guys back up here. I'm definitely checking out the Bear. Y'all gave it a whole lot of hype. Limp is over there from Shameless, so I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. But you guys have been awesome, and I thank everybody on this panel for being here. Anything else before we get out of here, y'all? We good. Y'all come to that live for
Thank you.
Vampire.
Thank you for hosting.
Of course, y'all bring your ass to the interview with a Vampire Live. We are this close to 300 people in that live, and I really want us to get over 300, more into the 400 range before we get to the finale of that show. Love y'all for that. Love y'all for the support, and we will definitely see you next Tuesday for that, as well as next Friday for episode 4 of The Boys. Good night, y'all.
Good night.